The 2012 championship had been said by many to have been the greatest year ever for racing and excitement since the current format began. 9 different winners from 12 rounds and a title fight that went down to the final meeting of the year. Going into the final round in Torun, Poland, it was all about 2 riders, Australia's Chris Holder and Denmark's Nicky Pedersen. Inevitably, Holder met Pedersen in a highly charged semi-final, and when the two clashed, things became a little heated. And with both back on their bikes, it was Holder's brilliant start from the inside gate in red that sent him into the lead and onto his first World Speedway title.
That was awesome. It's a bit of a, after it's a bit of a blur what happened, but yeah, the whole thing was good. I remember like the lead up to it was pretty intense, and then the meeting was as well exactly the same. You know, had some rain and all that sort of stuff, and it was all sort of playing a bit of a part in it. But yeah, best, apart from Max being born, probably the best day of your life.
So the 2013 season starts here in Auckland, New Zealand, and it's the second visit for our Warriors of Shale to the Southern Hemisphere. The inaugural event saw Greg Hancock start the defence of his crown with a win here. So for the former world champ, how does he rate the assembled riders for 2013?
You've got youth, you've got experience, you've got wild, you've got interesting, and you've got a ton of different personalities out there. So it's probably going to be one of the most exciting years we've seen.
After New Zealand, the series returns to its familiar roots throughout Europe. 12 grueling rounds face the riders to find this year's world champion. As the World Championship grows from strength to strength, so does the influx of youth and riding talent.
I think I've got all the pieces to the puzzle this year, so you know, it's going to be tough. Like you said, everyone can win one, so but, you know, so can I.
It's going to be a good series, so I'm looking forward to it, and you know, whatever comes of it, comes of it. But as long as I'm enjoying it, it's the main thing.
It's not been all travel and practice for the 18 riders since arriving in Auckland. The city's famous Sky Tower hosted 4 adrenaline-fueled riders as they took to abseiling down the side of the 192-metre tower. Yes, the world's best have landed here at the Buckley Systems New Zealand FIM Speedway Grand Prix. Hello, folks, wherever you are across the world. About to enjoy some of the most phenomenal 2-wheel speedway motorcycle action you are going to see. Stephen Johnston joins myself, Wade Ornger, riders coming out onto the track. Jono, we're here for the second time. The crowd has responded again. Huge turnout here at the Springs.
Mate, really great to be back here. It was a brilliant event last year. Ended up being an excellent Grand Prix series. And as we've heard from the other riders, this is going to be as interesting as ever. Great shot right there of the #1 and #2 ranked riders in the world. Chris Holder, it's as close to home as he's going to get right now in this current championship. And look at him. Every second person seems to be related to him. It's unreal because, you know, the pressure on him now, he just handles it so well. He always goes out and has a lot of fun when he's riding. He's now got everyone out there. He's got the #1 on his back. They're all chasing him, and he's still taking it so casual. Thomas Golub waving to the crowd along with Antonio Lindback and also Emil Safutinov, the young Russian. The Kiwis, of course, are here represented by 3 different riders. Jason Bunyan into the program proper, and 2 young reserves will be riding here today as well in Sean Mason and also Dale Finch. Let's hope they get a chance to ride. And Herbie Hancock, already very light-hearted about the whole thing. Yeah, and he won here last year, so he's got to be in a confident mood. Absolutely. Had a great start to the season. Tapered off just a little bit towards the end. The Monster Girls here giving plenty of colour to the event, that's for sure. We just saw, of course, as well, Niels Christian Iversen. Look at the Polish fans. There's a big Polish contingency here, and they've really welcomed the 3 Polish riders here this week. They actually had a reception for them 3 days ago, I think it was. So a lot of support there for the Poles. Enormous amount of Monster Energy support here as well for guys like Chris Holder and certainly Greg Hancock. I noticed Darcy Ward as well got his Monster colours on as well. So a lot of support, Thomas Golub as well. Yeah, no, Monster have really got behind Speedway. It's great that they're involved with the Grand Prix series apart from sponsoring individual riders. So it's great to have them on board. Track looks beautiful. We had a practice session here yesterday, Jono. There was a lot of laps put in. There was, and the track to me looks better today than it was yesterday. I had a quick walk before and a bit of grip down low. The starts are very slick, quite across the board, so I don't think there's a major advantage. Gate 1 looks possibly better than the other 3, but down low early on, there is a lot of grip on the inside of this track at the moment. Funny you should say that, Jono. I spoke with that guy on camera right then, Chris Holder, just before things started getting dinkum today. He said he feels that turn 1 and 2 down low is going to fire a lot of riders up high, so it's going to be an enormous amount of drive, which supports what you just said.
There's Jason Bunyan. He scored one solitary point here in the place with absolutely Burko last year, Jono, if you remember.
It was really good towards the end of the meeting. He got his 1 point, and you know, getting 1 point in this sort of company isn't easy work. So I spoke to him after that when he got that point. He was pretty happy.
A couple of Swedes there, Andreas Jonsson along with Antonio Lindback, a man who was born in Rio de Janeiro and lives, of course, in Sweden. Yeah, that's two kind of cool.
Yeah,
Brazilian
no, he's got it going
Swedish
on.
in the one package. He's a very cool cat.
Yeah, and the way he rides the bike is everything. He's very colourful. All his gear's colourful. The style on the bike, he's really exciting to watch.
Matty Zagar, of course, there as well. Another real wild card. This event is just chocker full of it. In fact, we've seen tough Grand Prix, of course, that's the nature of the business. But, Jono, I can't find someone that's not legitimately here with the chance.
No, 100%. And also you've got the old stable, the guys that have got the experience and still going very strong at the moment, and the young guys coming through that are hungry to take that away.
Look at this crowd is bathed in sunshine here. We've had a bit of an alternative kind of a day. It was a little bit of light rain just earlier. I think it was good for the racetrack, but sun now beaming down here at Western Springs Speedway. Wow, can you wait?
Mate, and you know what? All these riders are over the moon as well. They've just come back. Most of them have flown in from Europe and the UK, where it's snowing at the moment. So they're absolutely over the moon to be out here in a bit of sunshine.
Absolutely. Look at this. People might even get sunburned for a bit here. A lot of guys using this as their very first hit out for 2013. Greg Hancock is certainly one of them. Look at this talent. We're going to go down to the national anthem here in a moment, sung by Rebecca Nelson, accompanied by the New Zealand Navy Band.
New Zealand Navy Band.
Crowd absolutely loving this atmosphere. About to look at the rider introduction right now. Dale Finch, one of the young Kiwis from Christchurch here, hoping for a chance to get a ride today. Of course, the reserves are never guaranteed of that. This young man, of course, had the opportunity to ride last year. Sean Mason. Certainly this Kiwi is in to ride today, no doubt about it. Jason Bunyan, what can he do today?
You know, he's had the experience last year and they've adopted him as a Kiwi. He rides here every summer, 8 times New Zealand champion.
Well, this young live wire here, Darcy Ward. A lot of fans here for Darcy. Listen to the crowd in the background.
Looking very serious, mate. He's out there to upset some of the big names.
And has every chance to do that. What about this guy, Ty Woofenden? His mum will be watching. I'm sure she'll be very proud.
Yeah, and it's his second go at it now. Older, a bit more experience, so I hope we can see big things from him.
Niels Christian Everson, another guy you cannot underestimate.
Very fast, and he's had the experience of being here before. Again, another guy that's tasted it once and back for a second crack.
How about this guy, Matty Jagar?
Yeah, he's a really serious character. He's got some fast kit. One of the tallest riders out there. You said to me yesterday when you see him on the bike.
Very, very big boy. Christoph Kasperzak, Another guy with a lot of racing experience, and don't you reckon these Polish fans are going to go off today?
And as I said earlier, you know, a lot of support for the three Polish riders here.
I love this guy. He's a gasser. Jarek Hampel. Of course, he was sensational here last year. Runner-up to Greg Hancock.
Stay away from injury, and that boy's a contender.
Absolutely. Look at Martin Vakulik, already pumped up. He's in a good frame of mind.
Didn't he surprise a few last year, coming as a wild card and blitzed him?
Absolutely. What a great win that was. What a way to kick off your GP career. Now, this guy needs to come back strongly. Andreas Jonsson, a disappointing 2012 for the Swede. Good place to start a good campaign.
Make or break for him now. He really needs to do it this year.
Freddie Lindgren, we talked about him. We're going to talk about him more. This is make or break here for Freddie.
Yeah, and I think really this is where he needs to take his career to the next stage.
What a great character is here. Antonio Lindback, he's charmed the Monster Girl since the minute he got here.
Mate, he charms everyone. He's a lot of fun to be around, and you'll see the way he rides the bike. He's great.
Emil Safurinov, this guy's a hammer man.
Fit and strong, and I think fully recovered from his injuries.
Very nice young kid too. I spoke to him just before the event. Very laid back and looking forward to a fast racetrack. He's a god in Poland, this man, Thomas Golub.
Yeah, no, I respect him high. I mean, I love watching the guy race. He's incredible, and he's just keeping it going on.
Look at the fans, they're so passionate. Well, he won this event last year. He was the world champion last year. He's the oldest man in the field.
And the people's champion. Everyone loves Greg Hancock. He's always got time for everyone.
What's not to love? The grit, they call him, because it's always there. A lot of American fans here. Great shot here. Well, Nicky Peterson.
Love him or hate him, Speedway would not be the same without him. I reckon he's brilliant. He really mixes them up.
Now, wait for the reception that this man's going to get right now as we cut to the world champion, Chris Holder. This place will go ballistic.
Puts a chill down your spine having Chris Holder, 25 years of age, as our world champion. I think every second person on the back straight is related to him in some way.
I got goosebumps, Jono. Just amazing. The crowd very much looking for Chris Holder to kick things off in spectacular fashion.
And I think his mindset this year is obviously different than last year. He had a lot on his plate. His son Max was born in the early hours of this event. Not saying that was the difference, but that was the worst Grand Prix he'd ever had.
Well, let's have a look at the way the guys are lining up at the first heat.
Yeah, looking at this here, Thomas Golub, as we know, an electric starter coming off gate one. I'd be a little bit fearful being the other guys there.
Jason Bunyan.
A lot of pressure on Jason. Let's hope he comes good today.
He's had 12 months to get ready for it. Holder taking it as casual as ever.
Greg Hancock.
Well, Hancock won this event last year. Expect him to be strong right out of the blocks.
Jarek Hampel.
Well, he's a gasser. We know that, as you said, injury-free. Polarising, that rider, that's for sure.
Darcy Ward.
How good.
Yeah, no, I don't think he knows how good he is.
Vakulik, very much relaxed going into this.
Andreas Jonsson.
Must get off to a good start in 2013.
Lindback.
He was fast last year at this track.
Look at yesterday.
A weapon. Got caught up with Nicky Peterson at this event last year. Make or break year, maybe. It's going to be quick out of the blocks. So there's a look at some of the heats we've got coming up, Jono, and there's no favourites. There just can't be. The depth of the field is so strong.
No, and it's going to change. As we said, from yesterday to today, they all did a few laps. Everyone felt quite comfortable, got their setups, but the track is a bit different today. There's a lot more grip down low than there was. So as Chris Holder had said to you, it's going to be easy for the guys down low to hit a bit of grip and move off that line. You only have to move off that line by a couple of inches and give someone enough room to get their front wheel up the inside, and you've given away a couple of places.
Interestingly enough as well, Golub has drawn the #1 marble. He will have to start every heat race directly after the track grade and preparation each time. So he's very, very experienced. He's certainly going to overcome any obstacle that's thrown at him, but he'll be starting from gate 1 in this very first heat. So Golub, you know he's going to be stout, that's for sure. There are no easy rides here at the Buckley Systems FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. Bathed in sunshine is a circuit that's normally for car racing, but the two-wheel shale gladiators have taken command of the building. This is going to be epic. So here we are, Heat 1, a brand new year. Ty Woofenden on screen. What a chance for him. to step up.
Yeah, big chance, and it can be quite daunting as well. A big chance for him to get back into it. But to know Thomas Golub, first ride of the Grand Prix, first race of the season, Golub off one on the inside here. At the moment as well, one looks pretty good to me. I did say earlier on, the natural run of the track with the camber, where the water runs down to gate one, looks like there's a little bit more grip on it than the others. So it's going to be pretty hard to get over the front of Golub out of gate one. But most of the guys are running their bikes reasonably long as well. The longer the bikes are, when you do hit a bit of grip or you do hit a rut, you can control them around the corners. And I think when they all walked the track this afternoon, realised that there was a bit more grip on there, they did lengthen the bikes.
We're about to have a look at who lines up in heat number 1. There is Woofenden on screen. Golub right alongside him. Perfect conditions for racing. Thomas, gate 1, going to be tough. Why not a big start for Ty? Plenty to prove for Mate. And Kasperzak, what a wild card he is. Those guys, of course, came through the Speedway Grand Prix qualifier, the challenge, the SGP challenge, as the Silver Ferns fly on the grandstand. And we get set to kick things off. Golub from gate 1, Jono, you're already almost in crouch position, getting set for a start.
Yeah, as we know, the guy is electric out of the starts, but I think he's definitely got the advantage here. It's pretty silly to say that because gate 1 is good on a lot of occasions, but just watch this here as he shoots and he'll keep it low in the first bend.
Dames fly, and we are green in New Zealand, and Golub immediately to the front. Woofenden tucks in low behind him. Good start for Ty, right on the back wheel of Golub as we go into 3, Jono.
Yeah, and he's got to keep it on there. Look how the riders are all staying down low. That's where the grip is there. Golub looks back, he looks to his left, looks to his right. He's just got to keep it down here. Now, this is where the guys can get caught out. They've got to watch it there. The way you go around the corner, if you're just a little bit off balance when you hit that grip, you're going to completely miss the corner and go out to no man's land.
Zagar and Kasperzak battling there. There is Caspo. 1 lap to go coming up right now. Thomas in command, but Woofenden's got good bike speed.
Very good. It looks to me he's definitely on the pace, and as we know, Golub has always got quick equipment, so Ty's staying right up his tail. Look at this here. Golub just drifted off the line, just a touch there.
1 lap to go. Golub was sensational on the high line here last year. Ty is right there with him. Look at this, the young Englishman who spent most of his life in Western Australia, all over the back of Thomas. Golub wraps up heat 1. A narrow win from Ty Woofenden. Back to Mate Zagar. And Kasperzak finishing 4th. No points for Christoph to start things off, and a quick tap on the tank for Thomas.
Great win there by Thomas Golub, but it's got to be a confidence boost for Ty there as well. I mean, not a bad result there coming off gate 2 and fast on the pace.
Absolutely. We knew that Golub would be a rocket off gate 1. Let's take a look at your results right now. And Thomas picks up the 3 points. Woofenden second, and Zagar will pick up the solitary. Kasperzak yet to get on the board. So as we get set for heat number 2 here to come, we'll watch and see how that inside gate proves. Right now, it's very fast, and most of the guys expected it would be. Greg Hancock, Chris Holder, Jason Bunyan, and Everson as well. Tell me about Everson. How do you rate him here this weekend, Jono?
Mate, he's back in the Grand Prix again. He's always been very fast. Watch this here out of the start. As we were talking about with Golub, really concentrating on the start. Once he shot out there, Ty then did exactly the right thing around the first bend. There we go, watch this. Ty moved a little bit there. Obviously, he didn't touch the tapes or anything, but he wasn't completely still. Golub shoots out the start, and then Ty did the right thing, ducked in behind him. It was no use trying to go out wide and go around him. Stay on the fast line down low. The other guys up higher didn't gain any ground by doing that.
And if you watch Kasperzak here as well, he actually beat Zagar out of the line quite convincingly, but when he got caught half track, that's when Mate was able to get that drive out of turn 2 and rocket into 3rd.
It doesn't surprise me off gate 4 because gate 4 is the second pick to me at the moment. 1 is very good, 4 isn't bad, 2 and 3 are very slick and dry at the moment.
Thomas just shows no emotion on or off the bike. He's so clinical. Remarkable how little emotion he shows. He'd be very good at poker.
Yeah, it's funny, mate. He's chilled with age, though.
Take a look at your graphic for heat 2. Hancock from gate 1. He'll be strong. First time they've met since this event last year, of course, here. So the man who won this event last year and the man who definitely wanted to, and of course the man who took the world title off Greg Hancock, Chris Holder, they line up side by side.
Yeah, I think out of the start here, we'll pretty much, it's an easy prediction to make, but I'd say we'd see a repeat there of Greg Hancock making a rocket out of one and Holder then, on the first bend at least, it's not worth him trying to make a big run around the outside. I think they're all better off staying down low and then sort out the race from there.
There's the word green on the back of the helmet. Will there be one with a win after this? He's never missed a Grand Prix, 156 consecutively. Oh, that was close. Hancock, very good start. Watching Everson lock into that third spot and Holder trying to go with him down the back straight. Good launch.
Oh, Holder's in trouble.
No, they're all slowing.
Right, here we go. Now,
Red
that's got to
lights.
be, to me, because of the move that Greg Hancock made there. You know, you could see he made a little jump and grabbed it again. Watch this here. Watch the clutch. Bang, there he goes.
Ooh.
So he wasn't, the rules are, he wasn't still at the start.
And what will that mean, Jono?
Oh, he gets another go at it. He didn't touch the tape, so I'd say he'd get a warning off the referee to keep still at the start and have a go again. But sometimes this is a tactical thing. I spoke to Ty Wolfenden about it earlier on, that having Golub on the inside of him, I just said, mate, don't take any notice of what the guy is doing next to you. Look at the tapes, because these experienced guys, Greg knows he's got Chris Holder there. He's going to be fighting him for the World Championship.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but it wouldn't surprise me at all, because sometimes you can suck the other riders in.
Jason Bunyan on screen there with his crew. And, of course, Graham Standring, one of the best speed car drivers ever produced in this country, helping him on this team. What was going on with the bike there, do you think? There's not much time to do much, is there?
No, there's not a lot, but if he was holding himself at the start, sometimes you've got to muck around with the clutch. These things, being a dry clutch, can overheat, get hot and overheat and burn out very easily. So it's very critical. See those clutch coolers here? The guys are...
down the bottom of the bike.
Yeah, there's like a fan they have running down there. You see it there. All they are is a little battery with a fan on it, and they just have to cool these clutches down because they're a dry clutch. They can burn out. If you do 2 or 3 starts in a row, it can finish them off.
So a little bit of drama here in heat number 2. Nobody's going to get as such.
We love drama.
No one's getting excluded as such, are they?
No. Greg Hancock ought to get a warning for that and back on.
Look at the headgear you're seeing around this place. There's a lot of colour and pageantry here, isn't there?
I would love hair like that. I'd love hair, but yeah, I'd love a hairdo like that.
But Hancock has been a phenomenon in World Speedway. Has never missed a Grand Prix. 156 GPs ridden. 15 of those, of course, he's won. 874 heat races. That is amazing. And he's made 64 finals. But interestingly, last year, he really struggled towards the end of the series. He led most of it last year until it got to the business end.
I think he just lost his momentum. And as he says himself, as he lost his momentum, it dangled the carrot in front of the guys chasing him, and they stepped up to the plate, and it all just happened. I mean, really, midway through the season, Greg Hancock had it won, as far as I was concerned. If he kept going, you know, he didn't have it won, but he was there to take it again. He just lost his way a little bit, and those other guys, they were hungry.
Well, he's been doing a bit of riding back in California, only practicing. Of course, his son's a very handy young rider as well, so the Hancock name is looking like it's in very, very good hands if this bloke ever retires, and let's hope that's not for some time yet. What's he doing there, Jono? For those folks that are joining our coverage for the first time, what is he doing at the gate? He's
just having a dig there with his boot, because obviously as you're feeling the dirt and you're trying to kick it there, you're trying to feel the soft bits and the nice. You don't want a bit that's too wet and too soft. You don't want a bit that's really hard and dry, like starting on concrete, because these tyres, they haven't got really deep knobblies like, say, a motocross tyre or a trials tyre, but you need to be able to get a piece of dirt that you know when you drop the clutch it's going to bite and launch you forward. And they're just trying to pick the best place that they've got. You know, they haven't got a lot of room there. They've all got their 4 little spots that they've got to choose from. You've got to make the most of what you've got.
Just watching Holder and Hancock now, leaving the tapes and going back just to cool those clutches down. There's a stand on the right-hand side of the bike. They lay the bike over on that to let that back wheel spin freely, just to keep that clutch cool.
Yeah, that's true, mate. You know, why they're not spinning, why they haven't got their back wheels off the ground.
So here's a look at what faces us right now. Hancock.
Chris Holder.
Needs to get a better start.
Jason Bunyan.
Everything to play for some local pride here.
Christian Everson.
Comes in as a complete unknown to New Zealand fans and looking to stamp his name on this, that's for sure. So it's restart time. Heat 2, of the Buckley Systems FIM Speedway Grand Prix of New Zealand. Great crowd here at Western Springs. Congratulations to Bill Buckley. What a wonderful man. What an enormous contribution he's making to the sport in the Southern Hemisphere. It's hoped, it's dreamed that maybe Australia can come online at some point. You rode in the last one we had in 2000. Set to go here at the Springs. Heat 2. Hancock and Holder closest to camera. Another good launch from Hancock. Holder will have to fall in behind him. Everson again climbs high. He'll get a good run coming off too. He'll come after Holder as we go to 3. Hancock, your leader. Two-time world champion looking to get it to number 3.
And the boys are already starting to go a little bit higher on that top corner. Look at this now. They're not staying down as low. Heat by heat. We're only on a second heat, and they're already... Watch them going into this bend here. They're going to come off this corner a little bit higher, where the guys in heat 1 were keeping it down tight on the curb there.
Good bike speed at the moment for the Dane. Everson back in that 3rd position. Hancock getting away a little bit now. And as you correctly said, they're opening up to probably about 3rd track. A little bit lower going into 3, but sweeping wide coming out of 4. 1 lap to go for Greg Herbie Hancock on top of the world this time last year. Holder chasing him all over the bike as usual, half underneath it if he can get there. Checkered flag at the ready. What a way to start his night off. Greg Hancock wins heat 2. A look back for the grin. Holder will come home in 2nd. Good ride for Everson back there in 3rd. And Jason Bunyan, the Kiwi, home in 4th. So you just see Holder congratulating his Monster-sponsored associate. They have a common passion there, that's for sure. As I said, hasn't ridden competitively this year. This is his first kick-off event. Spent a lot of time in California practicing. He looks fresh.
He looked really good yesterday, and his bike sounded good. I made a comment to you that the bike was driving. It was like it had so much torque. And he wasn't turning the bike.
For those people watching the coverage for the first time, you get 3 points for a win, you get 2 for 2nd, and you get 1 single point for running 3rd. 4th, you get the centre of a donut. You've got to keep pushing hard, that's for sure.
Yeah, when I said Greg yesterday wasn't really turning, he was actually, he was keeping it in a straight line. Now, obviously, these things, when you're going sideways, when you're not going in a straight line, you're washing off speed. And on a big track like this, like they ride the big tracks in Europe and long tracks, the more that you can keep your wheels in line and lean the thing over, that's what Greg was doing yesterday, and the bike was just hooking up.
Fantastic start from the Grin. That gate 1 is proving to be very strong. It's a 100% win record from it at the moment. Everson had a good run out of 2. Almost ran Holder down a bit, but look at the style of a man who's been around this sport longer than most people have been watching it.
And already down low where it is a little bit grippy and it has got a fair bit of drive on it, it's already chopped up. Did you notice once the boys sorted themselves out after the first lap, they moved out that little bit just to get a smoother ride?
Even at practice yesterday, Jono, that same was happening. The guys were running down around the curve. And the bikes were getting very flighty and very unsettled. So I think fairly soon we may start to get to a half track. But of course, they'll be grading after each bracket of 4 as they come to the tape shortly for heat number 3. And Hancock takes off the lid. And as always, a happy, smiley face. That's why they call him the Grin.
Always smiling, that guy. Win, lose or draw, he's just got a great attitude with it all.
Here's heat 3. Vakulik, wild card.
Darcy Ward.
Oh, wild card.
Nicky Peterson.
Supreme.
Yada Campbell.
Hammer time. That guy screws it on twice.
This is a tasty race for me, mate.
I know what you mean, matey. If you got no goosebumps, you got no blood at this point, folks. These are some of the most explosive new talents in the game, and one who sat at the top for a long time.
And speaking to Nicky yesterday as well, Nicky 35 years of age, but last year having that boost to get him back up where he was fighting for the World Championship, he feels like a teenager again. He's as keen as mustard. He's determination we've never doubted, but he is hungry again to go back as good as ever.
And from gate 3 here, Jono, so it's going to be tested. Vakulik is the one that will be starting on that red helmet colour gate 1 position alongside Darcy Ward.
Yeah, but watch Darcy here. He's not going to want to give him an inch, and he's going to show him right from the beginning of the season how dinkum he is.
Waiting on a launch here at the Springs. It's heat 3. Very good launch for Darcy Ward, and Ward will lead them into turn 1. And the crowd erupting down this back straight away. Peterson back there in that 3rd position. Vakulik strong in 2nd, but Darcy looking very strong early in heat 1.
And look at Hamble having to go around the outside. Once he's winding his speed up, look how quick Hamble is. He's going to try and go around. Look, he's got the speed here.
You're right, here he comes. Here comes
He's going to go all the way around. Watch this next corner.
Geez, good to watch, isn't
he has. He's winding it up. And once if he can keep his wheels in line and he doesn't actually have to change his direction, I think he's got the speed there.
Here comes that Super Pole looking for the outside. A good ride from Buckley. Kept him out there. Now he comes back to the inside. And Peterson struggling without a point at this point.
He is, but let's not forget Darcy Ward to come off gate 2 and then get straight across. This was a big, big confidence boost for Darcy. Start the season like this and come straight across on gate 1 and say, I'm here.
Wow, the crowd are going to love this. The Australian flags are flying high, and Darcy Ward will wrap up his first SGP heat race as a championship contender. Look at this place, Jono. They're going ballistic.
They're going ballistic. Look at Darcy there. He knows he's very, very happy with that. But just as he came across the finish line there, he was full gas and he tried to give it a bit more. I think he was trying to bend his handlebars.
It does say full throttle on his pit bay, that's for sure. You know what? Jason Crump and Lee Adams are watching this coverage, of course, back home in Aussie at the moment. They're part of one of the network's pre-show telecasts. Crumpy, it ain't the same without you, mate. And Darcy certainly flying the flag. Jason Crump is Darcy Ward's hero, like a lot of people there as well.
Yeah, he's a lot of guys' heroes, and, you know, Lee had so many good years in England as well. So these guys watching the young Aussies coming through, I know they'll be thrilled. 3
points for Darcy. What a start. Vaculek, strong ride for second. Hampel third, and Peterson not able to get on the board at this point. That was how Heat 3 looked, and it's good news for Gate 2. It shows you that, hey, there's moisture there. You can get a hold of it.
Yeah, I think Darcy made something of it more than Gate 2 being out of the 1 at the moment. He was very, very determined. I watched him an hour ago before we started. He was in the pits there, and people were walking past, and he was just looking straight. He was taking no notice. He was serious. He made a great jump, didn't he? And then once he made the jump, he knew he was coming across the inside. He was thinking, no, I'm having this bit of the track, mate. As I said, if you're on the Gate 2 there, and you give the guy off Gate 1 anything, especially when it's getting rutty and starting to chop up already, it's dangerous.
Wow, Hampel, just as we knew, would be 12 tenths trying to get around Vaculek. Just couldn't quite do it. And here's the finish. Darcy, that's a convincing. And as you said, he wrapped it on a little harder.
It's full gas, and he thought, I'll get another inch out of this throttle cable.
See if I can stretch it.
Oh, brilliant.
And here's the left hand down on the side. Something that Jason Crump was always known for as well, the pump up on that left hand. There it is.
Whatever works for you, mate. You've got to wind yourself up. Some guys are very quiet. Some guys bash their tank. It's whatever works for you. When you're in this 2.5, 3 hour time zone that a Grand Prix is on, do whatever you got to do to get there.
He's look at Heat 4's lineup.
Freddie Lindgren.
Gate 1, can he do it?
Emil Seyfudinov.
A Russian rocket man there.
Antonio Lindback.
He was superb last year.
Jonsson.
Well, Andreas had a disappointing 2012. He was top 3 in the world a couple of seasons before. He really needs a strong start here in New Zealand. It's time to get loud in the land of the long white cloud for heat number 4, the Buckley Systems FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. Safudinov will be very tough. So will Lindback. Oh, Lindback out of gate 3. Trying it on Lindgren, up the inside as well. Great racing, 3 wide down into 3. Tremendous speedway here, 3 wide out of turn 4. Wow, great racing. Safudinov, very strong at the moment. Lindgren.
Andreas Johnson, he's very fun. Look at this here, he's just got the speed there. That's unbelievable. Freddie Lindgren didn't really make a mistake. Oh,
that was close.
Back there. Watch this on the inside there. Freddie's trying to make the ground up, but to me, Andreas Johnson looks absolutely on fire. He's got the speed there just to stay. Oh, as it chops up here, these guys have got to be really aware. That's why I said to you, they will change their bike to a little bit longer so they can compensate.
Running wide here. 1 to go. That opens up the door just a little bit. Johnson, your leader from Lindgren, from Lindback. And Safudinov disappointed the Russian back there in 4th with no points. Andreas Johnson, what a way to start. He started strongly here last year, but couldn't go on with it. Maybe tonight's different. Swedish fans will be very, very pleased with that. He had a bit of a moment in 3 and 4, didn't he?
Well, mate, that wasn't what I predicted from this race at all. Looking at that, for Andreas Johnson to come through and win that one from there and fast, he's looking, surprised me.
Very
didn't predict it at all.
Different war paint for him this year. He was riding in all red last year, very easy to spot. He's more gold and white this year.
Yeah, well, maybe, you know, he didn't have a great season last year, so maybe it was like out with the old, in with the new, and get on with it.
Change of colour is as good as a holiday. Let's look at the way they finished in Heat 4. Andreas picks up 3 points. Freddie Lindgren second with 2 points. Lindback third. We're talking about Freddie Lindgren. We're going to talk more about him very soon as well. We're going to be going to the pits shortly. Steve Brandon, he's going to be talking with some of our heat race winners. There's the points right now. Hancock, Golub, Johnson and Ward, they are your top point scorers right now. Holder, Lindgren, Vaculet and Woofenden. It's going to be exciting from here. So in the pits with Andreas Johnson already back there to the team. You can see that all the riders, Jono, use 4 different helmets in the pits. Explain that to people that are looking for the first time. Yeah, well, they don't have to do that, but these guys are all sponsored, and you need to have your helmet colours from what gate you're going out of. And basically, watch this here. Andreas Johnson, even though he didn't make the start out of 4, he wasn't in front, but he's come off gate 4, which is, to me, the toughest gate at the moment. So look at him there. He's in last place coming out of that second bend. Makes up the ground here and comes through. Little mistake there by Freddie Lindgren where he lifted a little bit, but Andreas was very, very fast and clever on the track. As I said, with these big ones, you only need to make a split-second decision, and you can lose 10 mile an hour, 15 mile an hour, just like that. Andreas, yeah, really surprised me there. There he is, cooling down in the pit area. Track being manicured at the moment after the 4th heat. Track bathed here in sunshine. It's actually very warm here at the circuit right now. It was quite cool earlier in the day. Look at the fans here. You get a bit of something and everything in this crowd, don't you, at an SGP event? Skippy's even having a beer. Mate, you asked about the helmets before, and we're going to go down to the pits right now. Jono, I think Steve Brandon is down with the grin in the pits.
Greg Hancock, good way to settle the nerves if there were any?
Oh, yeah, of course there's nerves. You know, it's a world championship, first race of the year, so I'd be lying if I said no.
But track out there, good off gate 1 so far, but we've seen some passing and the track looks like there's some dirt out there for the Brave.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the track's been really different in the first 2 practices we had, and coming into the meeting, it's a little bit different again. So it's kind of an open game for everybody and trying to find all the right spots.
New Zealand struck Californian weather for you.
Yeah, it's great. You know, this is how we should start the season every year.
But a long way to go this year, but great start.
Yeah, it's good so far. I feel good. You know, it's been a long winter, and everybody's anticipating the start of the year, and here we are. So it's game on from here on out. Can't wait.
And the next one, keep up the good work.
Yeah, very comfortable, very relaxed. He did say, of course, that he's got nerves. It's interesting when you look at the schedule from here, because they head to Bydgoszcz in Poland for round 2, and Gothenburg in Sweden, Prague in Czechia, the UK, of course, for Cardiff, the amazing Cardiff Grand Prix there. Gorzo in Poland, Copenhagen in Denmark, Firenze in Italy, then across to Latvia. Going to be a great event in Latvia this year as well. And Krusko, we're talking about the Slovenian. Be very excited about seeing that back this year on the schedule. Yeah, and a great track there, good stadium. I've ridden there half a dozen times, and you know, they prepare the track well. It's a great shape, good setup, and obviously the Slovenians are all really excited to have Zagar back in it. Yeah, and look, it's good for the series. It's good for the competition, isn't it? It is great. I mean, 12 rounds this year, mixing it up. As you said before, it'd be great to have a round in Australia, and even possibly we're still talking about Greg Hancock riding like he is and Monster Energy being involved. How about having one in the USA? Brando's downstairs at the moment with Darcy Ward, who's got to be pumped after that one. Darcy Ward, Wade's just said pumped up. You must be.
Yeah, really good. I think early stage, so good start is what's needed, and it's what I got there, and I feel good, but you know, we need to set a bike up just in case I don't make that start, and I think we've done that now, and just keep going.
Just between you and me, any nerves before that one?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's a lot of family and friends, not here, but also watching at home. So, yeah, I was definitely nervous, but I enjoyed it. It was getting out there and getting that one out of the way. It's a nice way to do it by a win.
Is it hard to avoid the hype around how good you are at this game?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think you can't avoid it. There's too much that goes around, so you just got to take it on the shoulder and try to live up to it, which is what I always like to do. I love to win, and I had a good one there, so I'm pretty proud.
Keep up the good work. Thanks, Darcy.
He's got a wonderful friendship with Chris Holder. There's another guy that's very good at shouldering pressure and shouldering responsibility. 21 years of age, the young Queenslander, a 2-time world under-21 champ, Jono. Yeah, you know, Electric's so good on the bike, and as we say, we hear a lot of hype about him, and sometimes too much. I just like people to leave him alone a bit and get on with his racing. But having Chris Holder, it sounds silly, but at 25 years of age, for Darcy Ward to have
Chris Holder to look up to and ride with at pool and everything. I think Chris is someone that does it all the right way.
As you can see, it gets to be a bit of a dirty game at times. The old steel brush comes out so you can clean off the leathers. Here's what we've got coming up. Heat 5, he needs points quickly.
Big changes.
Great start for Greg.
Tomasz Golob.
Golub's tough as well. This is an amazing heat race, this one. Already 3 heat winners.
Jason Bunyan.
Bano, got to get on that board. Good start for young Ty. Bakulik already exciting. No points for Emil yet. Needs to get on it. Zagar.
Chris Holder.
A second place already. Likewise, a runner-up spot for Freddie.
Darcy Ward.
And Darcy, a win to open the account. Needs a better result. Early, not what he wanted. Hampel too struggled in that first one. Another guy that needs to step it up, but it's only early. No points as yet for Kasper Zak. Heat 5 is going to be an absolute barn burner.
Well, we both looked at it earlier on, mate. Heat 5 is definitely one of the highlights of the night, of the afternoon. And, yeah, picking this one here, I mean, Andreas looked very, very fast to me, as I said, and surprised me a little bit. Not surprised me that he was fast. He's been fast a lot of times, but to come off the 4 like that and then pick him down as he went through and then move away a little bit, with him coming off gate 1, and then you've got Thomas Golub, Greg Hancock and Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
How you going?
In between those 4 riders, there's 542 Speedway Grand Prix appearances. They've scored over 6,000 points between them. They've ridden in 3,027 SGP races in total. They've all won an SGP. In fact, there's 59 Speedway Grand Prix wins between the 4 riders we're about to see.
Well, mate, you seem to know all the stats. What's all their star signs?
Thank you very much, Steve Brandon. Most of them like staying away from the cold. You know what I noticed is common in most of their build-ups this year is riding motocross, Jono.
Well, look, motocross keeps you on a motorcycle over the winter. A lot of these, when I say the winter, sorry, we're in the Australian, New Zealand summer. These guys, a lot of them, most of them live in Europe. So it's winter, it's wet, it's muddy, it's cold. You can ride motocross in those conditions. It keeps you on a motorcycle. And fitness-wise, I can't think of something that'll keep you as fit and be as much fun as riding a motocross bike.
Well, as we know, Chris Holder had that injury back in October where he was feared he was actually going to have surgery, but he's done a fair bit of riding here back in Australia, not on a Speedway bike that much, but certainly on a dirt bike with his buddies.
Well, Chris Holder comes from a great pace in the country for trail riding, and he's also been picked up this year by KTM, so he's riding a KTM out in the bush.
Nicky Pedersen, absolutely pumped up. Got quite a few people here from Excellent who've travelled from all over the world to be here as well. Wouldn't be happy with that start so far without a point to his name.
No, he won't, but Nicky will be a guy who would have gone in and made major changes. He wouldn't have a ride like that and go in and do nothing. I would be very surprised if he jumped on another bike or completely turned the one that he had around. But guys like him don't sit and wait for it to happen. They'll try and make it happen. So, yeah, we'll see a different Nicky Pedersen here, I presume.
I don't doubt you're right. There is the grin. Greg Hancock already off to a good start. He was off to a cracking start this time last year as well. He won this Grand Prix. He looked solid all night. Remember, there was plenty of discussion about backing up when you have that #1, how hard it is to come out and back up and win back-to-back championships. He looked for all the world last year like he was going to do that.
And he started the season like that.
The girls leaving the line, leaving the men to do what they got to do. Andreas already off to a good start. Golub, super as always. Yep, good to go. Probably the most determined out of the 4 to get some points on the board.
Definitely, and then you watch Nicky here as well. He's off gate 4, but look how close he is over. If you watch him, he's very close over to gate 3. He's not even getting up near the fence away. He's right there on the white line that divides gate 4 from gate 3, and he's also on an angle. He's actually pointing on a slight angle over to gate 3, so there could be sparks here.
Now, Golub is going to have this situation every time he rides tonight until he gets into the semis, if in fact he can do that. He'll be riding on a freshly graded track every time he comes up after drawing the #1 marble. Janssen closest to camera alongside Golub. All of them had world championships. Janssen's was an under 21. The rest of them in the big league. We get set to launch Heat 5. Very good start out of Hancock. Came from nowhere. Beautiful start from the grid. And he's away. What a ride from Hancock.
How did he do it off gate 3? Brilliant. You had Nicky was so determined to get across him. Greg made a lightning start and gets out there. Watch this now. We're going to see a real mix-up. Andreas Johnson still holding it down low there. And then you see the two different lines. Watch this here with Greg Hancock, especially down in this bottom corner when he comes back in. Comes off turn 4 there, comes down the straight. Now watch this, here you go. The lap before, quite out wide there, and Andreas staying down low, but it's not really making an advantage. Greg's getting out of the corner early, straightening the bike up and rocketing him down the back straight. Look at the gap he's got now.
Important for Peterson here. He's going to be able to lock in 2 points if he can hold on right there at the moment. Watching Golub back. In fact, no, my mistake. It's Peterson struggling a bit at the moment. Janssen looking pretty solid, and Golub locked down in 3rd, but Hancock just superb. Checkered flag is out. What a great way to start for the 2-time world champion. You then go back to Janssen in that 2nd spot, back to Golub, and Peterson again struggling with no points.
Major surprise to me, mate. He'll be shaking his head at the moment. Yeah, baffles me.
He went into turn 3 on that opening lap, and the bike just didn't appear committed to the corner at all. Almost like there was a power delivery problem or something. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening with Nicky. The American flag flying very high here at Western Springs in Auckland, New Zealand. As we take a look at your results from a cracking statistical Heat 5, the credentials just cannot be beaten. Hancock, another 3 points. Janssen picks up 2. Golub with a 3. What a start from Hancock.
Hancock's got to feel like he owns Western Springs at the moment. I mean, from what he did last year and then 2 wins.
Let's have a look at the points, Jono, and how they work right now. You can see Hancock has 6, Janssen has 5, Golub has 4, Darcy Ward, Chris Holder, etc. They've not had their 2nd ride as yet.
Yeah, and as you said with Nicky Pedersen, 2 rides, the big naught.
Going to be a very furrowed brow there, that's for sure. Here's the launch from Hancock out of gate 3, quickly across. Oh, there was nothing in it there.
Well, I'd pretty much say there was actually contact there.
That was close.
Yeah, but they love that. Mate, if you get in after a ride and you've got a bit of bark missing off your leathers or a black mark up your clutch, you know you've had a good one.
Up your clutch, did you say?
Yeah, if someone's run into the side of you and left a bit of tyre mark on the side of your clutch or on your forks or on your leathers, you know you've had a great ride.
Clutch or your crutch, I guess. It's all the same, isn't it, at this level? Clenched fist from Herbie. Things are going very nicely. He's checking out the replay of the monster guys. Always a goofy face.
Funny as well, you got Richard Childs in the background, an American guy who's been with Greg for many, many years and travels from America all out throughout Europe and everything to help Greg out. So it's great to still see him around helping Greg out.
Heat 6 out of the grid right now. Let's have a look at who's there. Emil needs to step it up quickly. Solid start for Buckley. Good start for Ty to run 2nd to Thomas. And Bono going to get himself up in those points. I know he is this year. Can do it a little earlier.
Over the years, Greg Hancock's actually helped Ty out a lot, especially in his early career, and I hope Ty watched that one there, watched the way that Greg Hancock came off gate 3 and thought, if Greg can do it, I can have a crack as well.
We both knew his dad, the tremendous fella Robbie Wolfenden, passed away 3 years ago. We're watching on screen right now, Heat 6. Very good launch out of gate 2. Vaculic was strong. Oh, man. It's running up big time coming off 2, isn't it?
Great turn there by Ty. Look at him. He's really in a good position there to come up. Trips wide. Makes a big mistake there.
The Russian is gone. He's out in front from Wolfenden in that 2nd spot. And just at the moment, Bunyan looking at a point here.
And on the pace as well. He's not just looking at a point. He's actually having a real crack.
Watching him come off this turn. Vaculic trying to get himself into that single point. Bunyan will bring the house down if he can get one early here. Martin can't quite run him down. Your leader is Safutinov, the rocket man from Russia. Got a nice lead. Wolfenden again locked down in that 2nd place. Fans in the UK and in Western Australia will be going off about that one. Good ride from Bunyan, Jono.
Yeah, really good. And this will give him a bit of confidence because after he got his point last year, the solitary point, he was on fire. So to get a point early on, he's going to have the confidence to go out and know he can get more. Great ride there by Safudinov. I think Ty did really well. He didn't make a good start out of 3. Fishtailed all the way. You'll see on the replay the way that the bike didn't shoot forward, but made a great first bend.
Look at the crowd here. Ty and Emil congratulating each other. The crowd erupting here. Bunyan scored himself a point. He got it in his second ride. And that, as you said, it makes a big difference to your confidence.
And everyone loves a trier, and the New Zealanders know how hard it is for Jason Bunyan to step up to this level and compete with these guys. So good on him, fair play.
Well, you remember what it was like yourself. Did that in Sydney. So take a look at the points right now. Emil gets the 3 he needed in road 1. Woofenden again, solid for second. Bunyan on the board. Well done, son. And Buckley. Now, here's how we see them now. Hancock and Johnson. Gollop, Woofenden, locked there with Gollop at the moment in that equal 3rd position, and Safudinov now goes to 5th. But Darcy Ward, Chris Holder and Freddie Lindgren still to have their first ride.
Yeah, definitely. But if we call it here now, if we just if we call it here now, as far as I'm concerned, Ty finishes 4th, and I told him if he finishes in the top 4, I'd be happy.
And what does he get for that, Jono?
A coconut.
Great shots here, the replay situation. Safudinov, a rocket, straight through on the bottom.
Oh, made a little mistake.
Really is turn 2 is where Ty made his ground.
Yeah, definitely. He held it down low, got into that rough stuff, which is what you've got to do. I mean, they're riding very high. They're taking the nice, not very high, but, you know, mid-track, they're taking the easy, smooth high line. But what Ty did was he got his front wheel over and got down in those ruts and made his pass. And that's what you've got to do. You can't always ride the bit of the track that you want when you've got to make a pass.
Ty's on a bit of a lifestyle change too. He's very committed. I watched him dust almost half a container of Milo last night. He's on the Milo as we see Safudinov, who's on the gas. This guy, a good start for him. He'll be disappointed with missing any points at all in that first one, though. It really can hurt you later in the night, John. I know we're only early, but you just got to get a point at least every time you ride.
Yeah, but mentally, to turn it around as quick as that and go out and have a win, that's good for him now. He's set himself up for the rest of the event.
Already off to a great start, Darcy. Solid.
Chris Holder.
He'll want to get a win here against his buddy.
Jaga.
Jaga, at the moment he's in there. He got his first point off, so he's off to a reasonable start.
Darcy and Chris ride so well together as a team. You know, Poole and they've ridden, you know, Torren in Poland and stuff like that. But to watch them actually battle against each other is great.
Here we go. Darcy Ward trying to back it up with another win. It's another great gate from him. Holder drops down low to try and pick up Lindgren coming out of 2. Darcy's your leader. Lindgren and Holder. Holder clearly in the second now. The Aussies running 1-2 here in New Zealand. Listen to this. The crowd on the edge of their seats here. Darcy cranks her in again. Lindgren got a good bite down low into 1 and 2. Jono, here he comes after Chris.
Yeah, and he can't. Chris will be aware of that now. He would have heard him come up there, and you can't leave that much of an open gap there because Freddie Lindgren, all he needs to do, look at this here. Chris won't leave that much. There you go. Look, he's kept it down lower this time. He wasn't going to leave the room there for Freddie Lindgren to have another crack at that. But Darcy Ward, unbelievable. You know, like he gets out there now to go, look how fast this guy is. This is why there's so much talk about him, because he delivers on the track.
Can we call this in Australia 5-1, Jono, and just be done with it?
Well, it's just like I said, they team ride together in pool all the time, you know, and this looks like them, again, winning another meeting.
You might get a bit of a feeling in the crowd. If you can hear this on TV, the place has just erupted. Darcy goes back-to-back with his wins. Holder runs rear gunner, though I don't think he was defending. He was coming after him. That is a great result for Darcy.
Yeah, it is, but, you know, these guys get along really well. There's a lot of competition between them, and sometimes when you're really close mates with someone, the competition's even harder. Yeah. You know, you go up against you, and you try that a little bit harder, which sounds silly, but you're not going to put them in danger or anything, but you will go that extra bit to make sure you win.
Freddie Lindgren was lively there, but just couldn't quite get enough purchase to get by Holder down on that low groove. So Darcy Ward will vault up to the top with Greg Hancock in the point situation here. Holder, consistent at the moment. He'll move himself up into the top 5.
Yeah, but he's already scored as many points as he did last year in the whole event. So, you know, I don't think that's a negative race for Chris Holder at all. He's well in the mix there.
A pair of runner-up spots for him. As in pulls Darcy Ward to his team. They immediately put the bike on the mat and begin working on it. What do they do from here, Jono?
Yeah, as soon as he's put the bike up there, you see that the boys leaned over the side. They're spraying the primary chain. You run 2 chains on this bike. Watch how he goes out here. See, Darcy hasn't really got the jump, but he worked it to the first bend. Freddie Lindgren actually made the jump. Yeah. But Darcy then worked the clutch. Very good on the bike there, the way he did it. There we go.
And you watch Holder come across the inside. He gave up the idea of going to the outside. He switched to the inside on Lindgren to come out of turn 2. We hit him up there.
Yeah, well, that's the same as what Ty did. Ty had to cut down to the inside to get onto the rough bumpy stuff, but that's what you've got to do to make a pass at the moment. But Darcy actually worked that bike all the way to the first bend, where Freddie Lindgren, for me, made the jump and should have got over the top of him and blocked Darcy coming early on. As soon as you get out of the start, don't let someone come up the inside if you can.
Excellent start for that young man on screen, 21 years of age. Young Queenslander, enormous amount of fan support for him here as well. Getting a bit of a feeling for what Chris Holder went through last year. And of course, Holder has the feeling as well he's got to deal with not only local support, but being the world champ. Here's heat 8. Caspo's got to get on it quickly. Not a bad start. Capable of better. He was a rocket here last year, not off to the start he wants either. As we prepare, final ride for these guys in this bracket of 4. There'll be a track manicure directly after this one. Hampel, I do love watching this guy ride. He does twist it on. Kasperzak, keen to get some points in, that's for sure, as Christoph. 29 years of age from Poland. Finished second in Cardiff behind Chris Holder, so he can ride the boy. Antonio Lindback was spooning with the outside wall. He was that close to it in that gate 4 position. We're watching now. Kasperzak leading down to turn 3. Christoph, nice lead, tucks it up a little bit coming out of 4. A lot of pressure on him from Everson. And likewise, Hampel again, not the start that Yarrick needed.
Oh, here we go. Look at Everson up the inside here. He's made it through. Oh, I really thought there Kasperzak had left too much room there. Everson through. He just saved it down. I'm positive he won't make that mistake again. Hampel, as we keep saying, very fast, but just not in the right place at the right time.
Cannot afford to only pick up the 1 point at this point in the evening either. Kasperzak doing a nice job out in front. First, he had to ride a course in the SGP in 2008. He first began his SGP aspirations. Very, very hard-charging rider. As you said, his dad Zenit, a big part of his racing as well. Very wide on turn number 4. A nice wheelie to celebrate. Just takes the pressure off just a touch. You rode against his old man, Jono, many years ago.
Yeah, that's sad to say, isn't it? No, his old man, a real hard charger. Very, very fast in Poland. So it's really good to see him here and in the pits with him, helping him out.
Great shot of him here. The Polish fans have gone absolutely ballistic, as well you would expect. Kaspo, of course, was a member of the Speedway World Cup winning team in 2011. They're a shy little country, aren't they? I love the Polish fans.
And Speedway, they go nuts for it. It's their biggest sport over there. It's unreal what superstars the Speedway riders are in Poland.
Let's have a look at how Kasperzak will study in the overall point side of things right now with that 3-point win. It will move him up slightly into position number 8. Lindgren 9th, Everson into 10th, Vakulik, Hampel and Lindback your top 13. So in is Caspro. Pretty solid ride for him. Let's have a look at the replay of the start here at the Buckley Systems FIM 2012 New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. See how wide Lindback started there.
He had his back wheel actually right up against the kickboards as close as he could possibly get the bike.
Which is very different to how Peterson attacked the same position.
100, mate, as you say it, I was thinking exactly the same. 2 completely different approaches, and it didn't really work for Lindback. He's kept out there in no man's land. But, yeah, Kasperzak, oh, look at that. He was ready for it, though.
Young Ty Woofenden getting a bit of a look at things. Let's talk about this young man. A wonderful thing he's doing to raise funds for cancer research in his home region. He's going to ride to the Cardiff Grand Prix on a push bike, Jono.
Yeah, he's going to race at Wolverhampton on the Monday night, and Tuesday morning he's going to set off. I think it's a 138-mile ride over 2 days, which is about 222 kilometres or something. And it's and it's all to raise money and awareness for cancer research. He's aiming to raise 20,000
£20,000, yeah. www.justgiving.com/Ty Woofenden if you want to check that out, or grab him on Facebook. He's on Twitter as well, because we lost his dad, a wonderful man, Rob Woofenden, coming up on 3 years ago, and it's a very personal thing for Ty to make this ride and to raise funds for it.
Yeah, and a great thing, it's a great thing for him to do, remembering his dad and raising money there, but also for him this year, you don't just jump on a push bike and ride 200 kilometres. There's a bit of training involved in it, so during the year he's going to be doing regular push bike rides and building himself up to it, so he's not sore and tired and worn out 2 days later to ride in the British Grand Prix.
Emil w dobrym humorze, pomimo tego zera z drugiego pola, no, potem było pierwsze, wszystko w porządku i właśnie o te pola chciałem się na początku zapytać, bo chyba na żadnym Grand Prix aż tak się nie zmieniają.
No to ciężko powiedzieć, pole są jak
Emil came on the scene, he actually in the last under-21 World Championship he won. Him and Chris Holder were fierce competitors. So it's funny now to see it, Emil's had a couple of knocks and a couple of years where he's, when he came on the scene for the Grand Prix, he surprised them all and finished third.
No właśnie chciałem cię zapytać też o to dopasowanie sprzętu troszeczkę, bo w tym drugim biegu już, pomijając to pola oczywiście, o którym rozmawialiśmy, w drugim biegu już byłeś nie do ścignięcia prawie.
I think he's ready on the up again.
Well, he was runner-up to Antonio Lindback at Terenzano in Italy last year in the 2012 season, but really struggled throughout that season. 75 Grand Prix heat race wins. Of course, as you said, he was back-to-back World Under-21 champion 2007 and 2008. Phenomenal rider, that is for sure. And he was also known that amazing heat race we had here last year with Jarek Campbell. Number 19, they were bar to bar. Remember that?
It was a great race, but they both gave each other room, and at the end of it, they patted each other on the back, and that's the sort of stuff I love to see. They're like fighting tooth and nail, and then at the end of it, sort of look over and give the bloke that you've just raced against a little pat on the shoulder, and off you go. It was
Remember
great.
too, he came together with Nicky Peterson in turn 3 and 4 in that very controversial heat where Nicky went down. There was a bit of a rut forming there in turn 3, and Emil ran right through it and shot forward, and there was a bit of contact, and down went Nicky. So Emil will remember this circuit very, very well. But of course, they've got a busy schedule ahead of them. 11 rounds. You've got the Speedway World Cup that comes in here as well. Track being prepared for us just at the moment, dropping down some water and also being lightly graded. So a big schedule ahead of these guys. Not only the 12 rounds of the Speedway Grand Prix, not only their commitments with Speedway World Cup, but they've got British commitments, they've got Polish, Swedish. There's a lot of commitments for these guys all over the world.
Yeah, it's not unusual for these guys to do 100 to 120 meetings a year. In a lot of other disciplines in motorsport, you'd ride in Grand Prix and do some testing. These guys ride all the time.
Let's go down to Steve Brandon, who's with Andreas Jonsson.
Andreas Jonsson a winner in second. Good solid start.
Yeah, not too bad, I got 1 point more than last year, so I'm pretty happy at the moment, and that was my goal, to just get a good start of the season, and so far it's been okay.
And that was with 3 more rides than you've already had. 3 to come. Track starting to make some dirt, and fortune's going to favour the brave on the outside when we get there, I think.
Yeah, I hope so. I think the track will get better and better, and the racing will definitely get better and better, because it's hard in the beginning of the meeting to do something, even if I was lucky there and could pass a few people. But yeah, I think that the track will just get better and better.
Great atmosphere and a nice warm day as well.
It is, especially in the leather. It's pretty warm.
I mean, for the guys, other side of the world to kick off the season or the World Championship season, it's a lot different than it's been in the past.
Definitely, it's a good idea to come here in the beginning of the season. Definitely when it's like -10 in Sweden, so it feels much better to be here at the moment. But yeah, it's good to get a nice start like this.
3 more to go. Keep up the good work.
Interesting situation for Andreas Jonsson with the disappointing year that he had last year. Not to dwell on it too much, but Jason Crumps, retiring from the series, was able to keep Andreas into the top 8 situation. Of course, he was second in 2011, had an amazing year then, but very quiet comparatively in 2012. Picked up finals in Lesno and also in Croatia, but by his own standards, 2012 was tough. Steve Brandon's down in the pits, a very busy boy while we're doing some track manicuring. Brando.
Chris Holder, world champion, 2 solid second places, but 4 points. They're going to keep adding up.
Yeah, it hasn't been, a blistering start, but I'm happy with the 4 points, scoring good in both heats, and it's going to be tight all the way through, so you'll need a win in there, but, off some tough gates, and, yeah, making quite decent sort of starts, just trying to pick up points off them bad gates, and you've got to make the most of the good ones.
I mean, I've got to ask you, young man right down the far end of the pit lane, pretty quick, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on it, man. He's flying. So, you know, I'm not trying to watch him too much, trying to do my own thing, but the bike's feeling good, getting it closer and closer to how I want it, and make a bit better start, and we'll be up there.
Just between you and me, what sort of things can you do to make that little bit better start?
Just got to get the power on the ground a little bit better. Gate 3 is not ideal, but, you know, Summer made it from there. So, you know, Greg, he's a freak at making starts, and he made it from there. But it's just a bit of a, you know, combination of things. So, you know, where you're sitting on the bike, how much throttle you're giving it and all that. So, getting there, a bit rusty, but we'll see by the end of the night.
Thanks, Chris. Get back to work.
Interesting too that Darcy Ward and Chris Holder will both face Gate 4 starting positions in this round of heats. So it's interesting now to switch things around. It's easier to get those good launches from the bottom, but someone's going to have to make it work for the outside here shortly, Jono.
Yeah, or make the most of it like Andreas Johnson did, where he come out of there and made a really good couple of laps and made it up.
Just looking right now, to get right up on that outside groove. This will be Darcy Ward's big test. Can he make this work? And he is elbowing up against the wall. In fact, he's almost on the first level of the grandstand.
Yeah, what happens now is, as well as we get into the meeting, there ends up with some ruts. See the rut right next to Darcy there that he's trying to stay out of. He's trying to start in a fresh bit of the track.
How can you concentrate with that going on, Jono? Seriously.
I think they're really worried about the girls out there, mate. They're trying to win world championships.
You would have been watching.
Would I not? Much, sort of, maybe. But no, some guys will pick a groove on purpose. They'll dig a fresh groove out that's not too deep and line them up in a straight line. Other guys, like Darcy at the moment, wants a fresh bit.
Here's the lineup.
Jason Bunyan.
Bunyan, a good chance to get more points. Time's running out, Antonio. Got to get on it. Gollop's solid.
Darcy Ward.
The excitement machine of the event so far.
Thomas Golub, obviously, as well, wouldn't have read all the press or heard the interviews, obviously being Polish, and he won't care what they're saying about Darcy Ward.
No.
He's not going to listen to this young hotshot that's up and coming. He's Thomas Golub, get out of my way.
He might have to have a quick look into his right in a minute.
I think you're right there, but he won't want to give an inch.
You know what? The universal language of getting blown by might be just introduced to him, but, you know, Thomas was solid here at this event. Remarkably, he was one of the standouts here last year and didn't make the final. He was knocked out in the semis, Gollop. I fancy that would be a major upset this time as well. Lindback, we're getting inside the goggles. Here we go. Set for a start. Heat number 9, Bunyan, the Kiwi. Best chance for a good launch. Gollop solid out of 3. Lindback, your leader. Here comes Thomas. Here comes Thomas Gollop.
Oh, through there. Lindback made a little mistake there. Gollop come through. Freshly prepared track. As you said, Gollop's going to have that every time he's out there. Oh, Darcy Ward there trying to cut back there on Lindback. Look at him, he's lining him up. At the moment, too, he's completely filled in. Won't even be able to see where he's going.
Here we go. Ward putting the screws on Lindback. The crowd erupting here, and he's into second. And that is critical. Oh, Antonio getting down.
Lost it. As quick as he passed him, he missed the corner and lost it.
And Antonio was not going to give him that opportunity back, that's for sure. A lap and a half to run. Gollop supreme. This man's a weapon, isn't he? Like you said, the headlines mean little to him. Ward coming back at Antonio, all over the back of him now with 1 to go. Screws it in. Can he get the run off 2 here? No. Antonio strong. Darcy, one more look. Is there time, Jono?
No, with the track just being prepared and watered there like that, so I think that caught Darcy out. Great that he made the pass there on Lindback, but then he was going too fast in the bend to hold it up and not drift off the line.
Red and white. It's a sea of red and white here for Thomas Gollop. He's ice cold. I just love the way he operates. He's devoid of any emotion, isn't he, when he's on that bike?
Mate, he's here for business. He's only here to make friends.
No. Is he here for business full stop in general? Because he just seems to be like that right across the board. He raced a fair bit of motocross, even in Spain this year during the off-season, and won a couple of races. 3 points for Thomas. Lindback locks in 2. And that was critical for Darcy to have a crack. Bunyan just missing out on that one. So Darcy now will be equal second with Gollop, but Hancock yet to have his 3rd ride.
I find that really funny about Thomas Gollop doing a motocross meeting in Spain. Can you imagine the local Spaniards doing their club event and then Gollop coming in being as serious as a heart attack, rocking up with his motorhome, 35 mechanics, 14 bikes. That'd be funny as.
He's looking to restart once more. And Darcy just could not make gate 4 work. Golub certainly was strong at a 3. Switch back on Antonio. Good night. Dr. Golub is in the house.
Yeah, Lindback had it there. He sort of made a great start, as we can see, and then these ruts on the inside caught him out. Watch this here. He just lifts off the inside there. Golub capitalises on it, and no looking back there. But Darcy made a really good start, but see, he went so fast into the corner and straight across where they boarded the track. Lucky to stay off the fence there.
152 Grand Prix ridden for Thomas Golub, 22 Grand Prix wins, a career average of 12.42, and of course he was the World Champion 2010 with a remarkable 15-point average. Clinical. Yep, doing very nicely indeed. All white except for the black and green monster hat, of course, as we prepare for heat number 10. Hampel finally gets a crack at an inside gate here, and right alongside him is the 2011 world champ Greg Hancock. Throw in Lindgren and also Ty Woofenden, who faces the steep challenge of gate 4.
Yeah, and off gate 4 there now, he's
Greg Hancock.
Hancock, solid, leading at the moment. Doing okay, needs to step it up.
Ty Woofenden.
What a debut for Ty in 2013. Looking strong. Gate 4 could be a challenge. Gee, Hampel against Hancock on the inside gate to be exciting here.
Yeah, brilliant. But look at this here. You see that Hampel is actually... The other guys have all been pointing to the inside of the track. Hampel's actually pointing, if anything, out towards Hancock.
Waiting for the tapes. Heat number 10 of the SGP for Buckley Systems. Great start from Whoopi, but look at the inside. Hampel. Hancock into second. Lindgren. Here comes Fast Freddy on the outside. Can he shut the door on Hancock? Then bar to bar into 3. Good ride, Freddie Lindgren.
Great turn there by Freddie when he was under pressure. But Hampel out in front, lightning fast. Ty's going to even have a crack here on the inside of Greg Hancock.
Interesting now, you had Darcy Ward who won the first 2, then only managed 1 point in his 3rd ride. Hancock is looking down the barrel of a similar situation. Lindgren checks up a little bit. This could be exactly what Darcy Ward needs for Greg Hancock.
Well, it's exactly what we need. We've got to keep it real close as we can and keep it exciting.
Hampel out in front. Yarrick Hampel. Great ride for him. Got a nice little buffer with 1 lap to go. Phenomenal rider, this guy. Unfortunately, broke his ankle last year. He missed 5 rounds. Woofenden coming back at Herbie. Final corner coming up. Hampel clinging to the curb like it's his only friend. Nice job. Chicker is out for Yarrick. And second will be a lively Freddie Lindgren, and Hancock will be disappointed with 1 point only. Woofenden unfortunately missing a point in a classy heat race too. That was tough.
Yeah, you know, they're all pretty tough, but yeah, you got to look at Hampel there. Took the best of the situations there, but pretty impressive.
Yeah. Mate, you and I have talked a lot about him. Let's have a look at the point situation. Hampel, a valuable 3 points over Lindgren and Hancock. He won his first Grand Prix last year at Stockholm in Sweden. What a great championship round for him to win. After 52 events of trying, he finally got that win. And he was strong again 2 weeks later in Copenhagen. So he's starting to find some form. He's certainly been around the game long enough to do that, Jono.
I really rate him, Freddie Lindgren, and I don't think he's shown his full potential in World Championship Speedway. He's been a top rider in the leagues, top of the British League, top of the Swedish League. He's been great for years and all of that. But at this level, we're yet to see the best of him.
Hammer time. Hampel cracks the throttle open. Very good launch on Hancock. But this big ride from Lindgren, particularly into turn 3, not so much there. Turn 3 was where it took the big deep boys to stay on the outside of Herbie.
Yeah, definitely. Coming off this next second bend, as he goes around the outside there, it really narrows up the gap. Look at this where he's coming down. Greg's just in front there. You'd actually almost have to breathe in to come around the outside of Greg.
Great shot there. But mind you, if there's ever going to be a rider that won't take you out, you'd have the confidence to ride the outside of Greg, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Greg will push you all the way, but he doesn't take people out. So, you know, sometimes that goes to his disadvantage. The guys know that he will leave him enough room.
Hasn't hurt his World Championship aspirations too much, has it? Hampel throws the lid on. Great job for him so far. We go to heat number 11. This brings Sam Budenov to the outside gate and throws Nicky Peterson into gate 2. Nicky desperately needs a win here.
Desperate for points and off gate 2. Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah, brace yourself.
Well, Everson will line up alongside him with the red helmet colours. Good to have Everson on the show this year, a 31-year-old Dane who got here through the SGP Challenge.
Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah, time to get it on quickly now.
Matej Žagar.
Slow for Matty, got to step it up. Maybe he's on a roll after that good win in his second appearance.
Just as a bit of probably a brash prediction here, but I'd say this is where we see the turnaround for Nicky Pedersen.
Turn around now and get a win, or turn around and go home?
I'd say if we don't, very surprised if we don't see a win here from Nicky.
Gee, they held him a long time. Good launch from Nicky, right alongside him. No, nothing in it between the two here. Now Pedersen will swap to the bottom, as you said. Good ride for Nicky into the race lead for the first time in the event. Everson got a great start. In fact, he's not letting him get away. Look at this.
Yeah, but Nicky will not give him an inch. Danish teammates when they're riding for their country, but there ain't. Oh, big mistake there by Nicky, and Everson's just not going to have the run to get up there.
Zagar coming on as well in this. Watching them come off turn number 4. There's nothing in this. A footing off the Russian. Disappointing for Emil. Is back there in 4th. Everson all over the bike trying to get Nicky.
And Nicky Pedersen not fast enough for me to stay out in front, but obviously knowing where he's riding on the track, he's never going to give Everson enough room to build up on him. But Everson a lot quicker out there.
All over the back of him again. He's going to have one more crack. Here comes Everson. Nicky steadies the ship just a bit. Final corner. Oh, Everson has the big crack on the outside. Why not? What a finish here. Oh, nothing in it.
Nicky still got there as far as I'm concerned. You know, we'll have to have a close look at the finish line, but Nicky did get that. Everson, I think, was too nice. You know, he went high, he went low. He should have just... Watch this here, really had a good crack. As I said, I knew he had the speed the whole way, but just too late, I think.
Nothing in that. Wow.
Oh, I reckon there was at least a cigarette paper.
Very, very close. That's good. That's a big character-building ride from Everson.
Yeah.
And it shows the rest of the boys, I'm here to be part of this. Here we go. Whoa.
Yeah.
Was there a knobbly?
Yeah, no, Nicky, as far as I'm concerned, we'll see what the referee says, but Nicky was just there.
So, not much in this. Officials just checking for sure as to what's going on. But either way, those fans have good reason to smile. Very nice job. And Nicky back into contention, though he's still got so much work to do, doesn't he? Got to get into a semi at least. Got to be in that top 8 situation. His results, he gets it. Just from Everson. Zagar back in 3rd, and Emil disappointing for the Russian.
Yeah, really disappointing for him, but I feel there that Everson rode a really good race and was just too nice.
Well, he's in the semis right now. If he went by the points right now, if they didn't change at that point right now, of course, we still have final rides coming up right now for Chris Holder, who will also have to begin this from gate 4. Andreas Jonsson has been showing plenty of ticker. Kasper Zak will be from gate 2. Bakulik from gate 3. He cracked, didn't he?
Yeah, Nicky made a little jump there. Sort of pretty much did what Greg Hancock did early on in the meeting and didn't get pulled back for it.
Oh.
But Everson, look at that, he hung on to it. Oh, great ride.
Well, when you get the whole shot on Nicky, you got to hold on.
Yeah, but I don't think he was ready to hit those ruts that are down there on the inside. Obviously, look, Nicky tries to get across him. Everson didn't move, fair play, but then lost it there. Rode a binder and came back from it, but I just feel he was too nice. He had a couple of goes, and look, then Nicky's got his leg out, and Nicky goes left, and Nicky goes right. Yeah, Everson should have really got the result there.
Best finish so far is heat 12.
Andreas Jonsson.
Plugging along right now.
Krzysztof Kasprzak.
Could use a good ride.
Martin Buckley.
Lost the momentum a bit.
Chris Holder.
Could bring the house down with a win from gate 4, but is it possible?
Well, gate 4 now is as tough as ever because what you find is the racing line. So when you look down at the track, it's where the guys are all riding lap on lap. So where Chris Holder's coming from, he's got to go across the real hard, dry, slick part of the track. Anyone coming off 4 now is going to find it real hard.
The youngest world champion in the history of the modern Grand Prix concept at 25 years of age was Chris Holder. He returns to atone for the disappointment last year. He's not out of the hole where he wants to be. Jonsson is the one who'll lead them. Holder gets caught down low. Not a good start for Chris. He's going to have to be busy. Oh, look at this challenge into 3. Boys are going at it. Heat number 12. Andreas Jonsson, your leader. Kasper Zak in that 2nd spot. They work their way out of turn number 2. Bakulik in 3rd, and Chris is a long way back.
Yeah, Chris not even on the pace there with these guys, but Buckley's having a real crack now. He's trying to get up in there, but I don't feel Kasperjak's going to give him the room to do so. Andreas Johnson looking great here today, isn't he?
Yes, he's back to himself, that's for sure. Had a disappointing 2012, but he was lightning in 2011. Caspo has a bit of a look up the inside. It's a difficult track to come back at, isn't it? Chris has been back there, and it's a no way of running them down.
Yeah, but no, not just running him down. To me, he's off the pace there. So whether he's got a problem with his bike or he needs to go in and make some major changes, because he's not even in the race with him here.
Checkered flag is out. Johnson is doing a good job today. Well done. Kasperzak, a strong second.
And Chris
looking down.
Yeah, what he's actually feeling his headset there, so he must have been riding really bad. He's wobbling the bike and feeling down to his headset where your handlebars join onto. So to me, I think Chris Holder was getting a real bad ride.
Andreas Johnson back into very good touch. As we said, second in 2011. 8 GP wins, 113 Grand Prix he's contested, so he's been around quite a while. 3 points for Andreas. Kasperzak 2. Vaculek picks up the single. And here's how they look now. We reshuffle with everybody having each equal rides. Johnson goes to the top. Golub, Ward and Hancock, your top 4 right now at the SGP of New Zealand. So arriving back in the pits, the AJ Racing pilot of Andreas Johnson. We're going to take a look at the restart here. Just have a look at how the West was won for Andreas. Launched beautifully. Gate 4 is so difficult to get out of. It's been proven. Kasperzak, nice ride from him. Nice, literally, with nice down his leg. Here's a look for the top, Jono.
Yeah, Chris Holder got moved a little bit wide there, went for the cutback, but just the whole race wasn't right for me. I think there was more than an engine problem. There was a chassis problem with him there.
No such problems for this man on screen. He said earlier in his interview with Steve Brandon, he's already scored more points a heat race ago than he did the entire meeting here last year. So things going swimmingly for him at the moment. As I said, certainly been around the game long enough to perform at an elite level. With Jason Crump retiring from the SGP competition before the new series kicked off, gave Andreas the chance to slip back into that top 8. It's a natural seeding system. The top 8 from each championship are retained for the following year. Then there's a wildcard system that is basically FIM-based seeding, which slides the next 4 in. Then you also have a SGP Challenge qualifying event. You actually have to ride for the last 3 spots in the series. There's always a wild card, a local wild card, which this weekend is Jason Bunyan. And then you have 2 reserves, 2 local reserves, and that's how we get our field of 18. So track maintenance going on here as the sun continues to go just a little bit lower here at Western Springs. A beautiful facility, Jono, perhaps better known outside the Speedway car world was midget.
Z nami, proszę Państwa, Tomasz Golob, który czuje się w Nowej Zelandii jak w domu i nawet do góry nogami możesz jeździć przy tej wilgotności, no tutaj nie masz żadnych problemów. 7 punktów.
No, biorąc pod uwagę, że jest prawie 25 stopni, to porównać naszego klimatu to jest trochę cieplej, ale to nie przeszkadza. Jestem przygotowany na to kondycyjnie, żeby powietrze tą zmianę
Właśnie chciałem się zapytać, bo to twoje pierwsze zawody, pierwsze starty pod taśmie, jedynie w Toruniu parę kółek kręciłeś, no i Tomek, w każdych warunkach bez problemu.
Rzeczywiście pogoda nie sprawiała
Monster Energy Speedway Grand Prix
w Polsce i
nie
było dużo tej jazdy. Niemniej ja startowałem w tym roku sobie w Hiszpanii i w motocrossie nawet to nieźle
last year, of course, Greg Hancock was the winner. Jarek Campbell was second. Nicky Peterson was third, and Jason Crump, if you remember, got himself into the final as well. Hancock,
mniejszym złem w tym roku, a więcej zwycięstw i takich rzeczy, które przeszkadzają. Także myślę, że tak będzie.
Zeszłoroczny wynik nastraja bardzo pozytywnie, Tomek, no i przede wszystkim gratulacje jeszcze raz, wszystkiego dobrego z okazji tej 25. rocznicy, bo proszę Państwa, u Tomka teraz tego nie widać, ale na koszulkach chłopaki mają 25-lecie.
No rzeczywiście, już ponad 30 lat jeżdżę na żużlu, 25. Mam nadzieję, że jeszcze jakiś czas pojadę. Dla kibiców przede wszystkim polskich, którzy na pełno wstali rano i trzymają kciuki, także nie martw się, jeszcze jakiś czas pojadę i dużo jeszcze radości wam
Tomek, to dziękuję, powodzenia na teraz i w ogóle.
Pozdrawiam Polaków, do zobaczenia.
Dziękujemy bardzo.
No, whether you've ridden motocross or road bikes or whatever, they are very different to ride when you first get on one. They just, you know, no brakes, no gears. You really you're turning left on them. So, yeah, there we go. We've got a jet change there. The guy's got the carby off, and they're changing the main jet. As the weather conditions change here, the main jet...
That's on the Holder bike.
Yeah, yeah. And the boys, you know, as Chris said before, you've got to keep up with what's happening in the track. You've got to make the changes. You've got to be clever to keep it all day. Your mechanics and your advisors and the riders have all got to work together to change as the track changes.
Do you think this track is going to widen up and up to the point where we can...
Definitely.
Have sort of turn 3 widen up, or gate 3, gate 4 be competitive?
Freddie, first, second, a good steady start.
4 are going to be tough.
Yeah, no, I really want a heat win. You know, it's good to be in the points in all the heats, but you need heat wins to get into the semis, and that's what I'm aiming for.
Longest break now. They're going to do some track work. You're going to do some work with the team. What are you doing?
No major changes. You know, we try to keep focused and you know, small adjustments, but hope I can make some cracking starts from the outside gates now and get some speed up.
A little bit of a virus problem on Thursday after practice, high temperature. How are you now?
I'm feeling good. I was just after Thursday's practice, I was feeling a bit down, but had some good night's sleep and feeling ready to go.
And a lot warmer than Sweden right now.
It's freezing back home, so I'm glad to be back here. It's fantastic weather, fantastic environment, and really glad to be here.
2 to go, a couple of 3-pointers you need, I think.
Well, let's fingers crossed. You know, I'm going to do my best, and hopefully we'll be in the semis.
Thanks, Freddie.
Interesting too, Jono, how many people are actually coming off injury coming into this event. Look at Holder, who certainly had his injury back in October last year and has been pretty well off a bike for that entire time, except for an event he rode just recently at Undera, where the best pairs event that his younger brother Jack actually went on to win. But you look at Andreas Jonsson, you look at Nicky Peterson, both of them came off injuries from crashes only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, well, with the Grand Prix starting so early, the guys are trying to obviously ride over their winter, so over January and February, but you just got to make the best of what you got.
One of the superstars of speed car racing around this particular circuit is right now with Steve Brand and Brad Mosen. This guy's a gas-it-up racer on 4 wheels, Brando.
Brad Mosen, BSL, midget car driver, a couple more wheels than you're used to, but these guys do a pretty good job, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's good to be a spectator for once, and I mean, these guys are just awesome. You know, it's good to watch, and I mean, they just throw it in with no brakes. You know, that's crazy stuff, and you know, it sort of makes our stuff look a bit tame. You know, but you know, I'm really enjoying it, and you know, what a great thing for Auckland and Western Springs Speedway.
A lot of parallels, though, for people, you know, for 4 wheels, 2 wheels with Speedway cars. A lot of sort of sideways action and trying to find grip, just like these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to a lot of what's going out on the track right now, you know, with trying to find grip on the surface and stuff like that. And, I mean, all of these guys, they're pretty much, they're running pretty similar setups and stuff from what I can see. And, you know, these guys just throw it in, you know. I mean, the bikes are one thing, but the guys are just mad, you know, and it's awesome to watch.
I mean, your impressions of it, first time you've seen a really big time Speedway meeting?
Yeah, I came to this event last year and I was just blown away, you know, not only the scale of the event, but just how well organised it all is and how popular the guys are with the crowd. You know, people from Poland coming down to watch and they're all going mad in the stands and stuff, and it's really cool stuff. And, you know, it's just sort of a step up from what we do here at Western Springs, and, yeah, it's just really cool to be a spectator and just to see it all and relax for a change.
Seen them have 3 rides each. Anyone you got money on?
Any of the monster guys, I think. Number 6, he's my favourite, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brad Mosen with the big monster claw on the helm, on the hat just there. He's a gun around this place on 4 wheels, that's for sure. Interestingly, with this year as well, the top 4 ranked riders in the championship this year are all world champions, John. That's fairly rare. You look, of course, at Nicky, you look, of course, at Greg Hancock, look at Thomas and Chris.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. That's why we say it's never been stronger. Well, I don't believe it's ever been stronger.
I think we're going to go down to Brando's. Very busy in the pits right now. A lot of people down there enjoying the action, Brando.
Ben Townley, Josh Coppins, I won't mention the South Island thing there, but yeah, 2 international motocross riders. You've been in big meetings yourself around the world, but a world championship event in Auckland's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, eh? It's great, obviously, for the sport, just for motorsport in general, but
for motorcycling. It's great to have it here and to be able to be here on the sidelines, and you know, it's pumping my heart. The adrenaline's going just watching it. It's a great sport, and you never know who's going to win. 4 guys out there and they leave the line, and you really don't know, so it's cool. And Josh Coppins, for you, I mean, a lot different to motocross, but some parallels, but you're all as mad, aren't you?
Oh, I don't know about that. You know, these guys, they're racing pretty close out there. It looks good, and I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's, like Ben said, you don't know who's going to win. It's awesome.
Just, you know, from a crowd perspective, the reception's very good for these guys, international stars. Yeah, oh, no doubt about it. We were talking about that earlier. I would have loved in my time that we could have had a World Championship round in New Zealand. I think we both would have been able to do that. Would have been great. But you talked about madness. We have brakes. You know, they're a lot healthier to have brakes on a motorcycle. It's a better way to stop, is it, Josh?
Yeah, no, it's the way forward, I think. Yeah, no, I'm happy I got them on my bike.
All right, well, you enjoy the rest of the action. Thanks for your time.
Conditions are cooling down slightly now as well. Sun not quite so fierce. And Jono, yesterday at practice we noticed that the track has a lot of shade up in turn 3 and 4 areas. We take a look at the current world champion. We had to look at what's coming up in this bracket. In good touch, isn't he? Hot and cold right now, Emil. Not about where he needs to be. One more win to make it good. Definitely a change required. Flying. Showed a bit of ticker in that last ride. In good touch is AJ. An encouraging start, Jono.
Greg Hancock.
Yep, all things good on Planet Hancock. Gone off the boil a little bit, Martin. Needs to step it up. Has struggled a bit, I think. Not quite as fiery as he was at this event last year. Solid. Starting to show some good touch. An early point early. Needs to get on it and get another couple now. Nicky struggling. Got that win before, but it was desperately needed, wasn't it, Jono?
Yeah, I think from there we'll see a lot of different stuff now. He's obviously made some changes where he is competitive and he is out there and had a win, and he knows that he can't really drop any more points to, or if at all, any to get into those semis.
A gate 1 situation for Chris Holder here, Jono. Critical.
Yeah, he's got to capitalise on it. You know, he hasn't had a bad meeting, but he hasn't set the world on fire.
Let's take a look at the gate wins here so far. No surprises there really at all, is there?
One off gate 4.
Well, gate 2 has certainly been strong. We know gate 1 is looking good. Holder will need to capitalise on that as he prepares for this one. Yeah, just the one success from gate 4. Can they turn that around, Stephen Johnston?
Yeah, and even the success from gate 4 was where Andreas Johnson worked hard and made a pass later on in the race. He didn't make it to the first corner off gate 4.
On screen, very talented young man, the Russian, Emil Sefudanov, 23 years of age, had not the best season by his own standards last year, but still ranked inside that top 5. You got a number from 5 to 1, you know you've done well the year before.
Yeah, no, he's a goer, and he's another guy that trains fiercely on the motocross bikes. He's looked after by KTM in Europe, and he's riding constantly in the motocross over the winter. He loves it.
I was watching the guys walking the track before introductions earlier today when the event was people starting to file in, and all the guys did it. They walked the track. Chris Holder was stopping, signing, meeting fans, smiling, having photos, very relaxed. You'll need to step it up from here. Heat 13.
Chris Holder.
Gate 1 needs to make it every post. Starting to screw it on now, Yarrick. Hot and cold for Emil. Oh, look out. Thomas from gate 4. This is delicious. What a prospect we've got here.
Yeah, and straight after a track prep as well, off gate 4, which isn't always great, because as we saw what happened to Darcy Ward, when they've just prepped it, track's nice and smooth, but watered and even, it's not always great on the outside there.
Golub hard up against the boards. He's the last one to come into position. Waiting on a launch. This is going to be a cracker. Golub extreme outside, the world champ, Chris Holder, gate 1. Good launch from Holder. Watch out for Safudanov up the inside. The Russian into second, holding a leader of the Aussie
Safudinov, he's going to be there lining up. Watch this there. He's just pulling the tear-offs down the back straight. Chris has got a little bit of gap there. As we said, his bike was off the pace in the last one. He's fixed up what was going on there, but now he's actually pulling away there. Hampel, as we know, really, really quick, but Safudinov, even though he's cutting back and trying to line him up, he isn't making up enough ground to even make any impression on Hampel.
Golub, no points at the moment. Thomas is running last. There's 1 lap to go. Hold her on, say the Aussie fans. Hampel in second, Safudinov in third, and Thomas is not going to get a point here. This is dramatic for Thomas. Out of turn 4 they come, and the world champion bangs one in on the back wheels. A monster wheelie from Holder. Hampel gets second, and this place has come to life. Safudinov lively for third, and Thomas hand on hip. Didn't think that he'd come out of it with that, but hey, gate 4 is tough.
Mate, I like it. You're good. A monster wheelie from Holder.
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, righto.
That's cool. Good win for Holder, and just takes a little bit of pressure off. Here's the result, 3, 2, and 1 for Holder, Hampel, and Safudinov. Everybody's had a turn on the Sorrow wagon. Everyone's had a chance where they've not been able to get the points they needed, except for Andreas Jonsson, who's just firing at the moment. Hancock, Golub, Ward, yet to have his next ride. Holder and Hampel in that top 6.
Yeah, and Holder's still not out of the woods there. You know, really good ride there, but on 7 points, his next ride's as critical as ever.
And to explain that format, you've got to be in the top 8 in points at the end of your 5 rides. There are 20 heats. You race 5 times in that. Here's a look at the replay. Pretty good launch from Hampel here.
He did again, but off gate 2, if you even if you're just a couple of inches in front of gate 1, if you can't get across in time, the guys off gate 1 obviously have the better run to the first bend. It's less distance. It's just pretty obvious how that all runs. But no, Chris, great start there and back on the pace. As I said, I don't think he swapped bikes at all. I think there was a chassis problem with his bike more than a mechanical problem.
Look at that. There's one for you. Eat that. Typical stuff from Chris Holder. Helmet still on. He's in the first pit bay. They actually pit numerically. Looking good so far. The Aussie fans plenty to enjoy after that. That Aussie flag was getting a bit of a thrashing on that lady's shirt, that's for sure. The Buckley Systems 2012 FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix from Western Springs. New Zealand has embraced this event for the 2nd year running. Great crowd here. Folks, if you're watching from home, next year, get over. It is an amazing event. The people of New Zealand show a lot of hospitality, and they're really embracing this form of two-wheel war. Here's heat 14, the lineup. Needs to get a big one here. The man of the moment so far. Everson looking tough.
Darcy Ward.
Oh boy, Darcy trying to convert gate 4 to something solid after Golub couldn't do it. And Holder struggled the previous one as well. So from that gate 4 position in that previous group of heats, I mean, this is the cracker right here. Can your boy, can Ty get up for a big result, the Milo man?
Definitely, mates, and you know, once he's out of the start, to make the most around that first bend and be aware, which he is, of those ruts, not make any mistakes and let the guys coming down the back straight get there in front of him.
Great shot of little Whoopie. As he prepares to go to war, he gets out of there beautifully. Whoopenden gets the whole shot. Jonsson goes to the middle. Oh, nothing in it there with Everson as well. Down to turn 3 we go. Ty Whoopenden, your leader. This will be interesting. Rider down.
Yeah, to me, that's going to be a tough decision to the referee, but the way it went in there, it was Darcy that actually picked up, and
Everson, I think, went down.
Yeah, Everson went down, but you know, when a guy in front of you, as we said before, these things with no brakes, sometimes you have to take avoiding action because the guy in front of you think he's coming off or running into someone else. So
that's definitely what appeared to happen on the replay.
Watch Everson going around the outside. Look, he sees that. Yeah, Everson laid that down because he was trying to avoid a contact.
So how did, but look what Darcy hits a rut here, very much like Safudinov did. He washed off speed here. That's a great piece of riding not to take Jonsson completely out there.
Oh, Darcy did a great job just to hang on to it. That's no doubt of that. But you know, you do feel for Everson here. He's starting to have a run around the outside. You see everything. I mean, it happened split second, but you see it in slow motion when you're on the bike. So you're watching where you're going, but you're obviously very aware of what's going on around you. Watch you see how Darcy then pulled the bike up and didn't absolutely spear Andreas Johnson. Was great how he did it, but
now, what are we looking for here with these lights, Jono? This is an exclusion light we're looking, are we?
Yeah, and once whatever colour light comes on, that rider is excluded. And as there is a stoppage of the race, the rules go that the rider causing the stoppage of the race will be excluded.
So the yellow light...
They've excluded Everson by the sound.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
and he'd have a right to be upset there.
You know what? That was very similar to the Saifutinov and Peterson incident here last year in that same position. Watch Darcy Ward, the yellow helmet. He hits a rut, squares up, nearly he does nail Johnson. And Everson dropped the bike. Because these bikes have no brakes, Jono, that's your only way of stopping, isn't it?
Yeah, Everson, mate, didn't do anything wrong. I mean, as I say, he could see what was coming up. For Darcy to stay on the bike was great.
The irony in the Wales sign, if you watch where Everson drops the bike, the sign says, drop by, leave stuff, be happy. Not sure that he's dropped by, he's left stuff, but I don't think he's leaving happy. Yeah,
but you know what happens as well? Over the years and over the seasons, you have some decisions for you and some against you. The best thing is to get on with it, get up, get back in. You know you've been undone by. You know that it's a wrong decision, but don't jump up and down and scream and shout. Get in, sort your bike out and get on with it, because it's happened now. You ain't going to change the decision of the referee.
Well, if you remember too, there was an incident involving Nicky Peterson and Chris Holder, where Chris Holder was excluded last season. That led to an interesting little situation where Chris ran up and gave a bit of an ironic hug as we take a look at Ty Woofenden.
And he's got to do it all again. I mean, he was out of the way of all the action going on and done everything right.
There it is, keep full throttle, written on the back of the pit bay there for Darcy Ward. It's an adage he lives by, that's for sure.
He definitely does that, yeah.
So plenty of controversy here, a bit of drama as well you would expect for the Buckley Systems 2012 FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. Plenty of Aussie pride here. The great part too is it's not often you see Aussies and Kiwis united. As you know, between New Zealand and Australia, it's a fierce sporting rivalry. But the Kiwis here very happy to see the Aussies do well.
I wouldn't have gone that far, mate. Or you should have seen me dancing in the casino last night.
Yeah, well, that hardly surprises me. You tend to have that universal appeal, don't you? Darcy Ward, the Loose Kid Industries gloves that he wears, Loose Kid, fairly appropriate. He does wrap it on pretty hard, doesn't he? Now, the guys walk, for people watching this for the first time, John, the guys walk like they're all battling a leg injury. They've got a big steel shoe on that left foot. How does that work and what does it do?
Well, on your right foot, you've got a pretty standard boot with a heel on it and sort of a square heel, so you can dig that into your footrest to hang on to the bike. But on your left boot, as you can see down there now on Darcy's foot, as it's curved up, it's actually, it is, as you say, a steel shoe. You put on a slipper that hooks onto the bottom of your boot and then holds on with like a leather strap. The reason for that is because if you've ever ridden a race where you haven't had one of these steel shoes on, going into the corner 60, 70, 80 mile an hour, you put your rubber boot down and it grips on the ground and nearly flicks up and rips your leg off. With a steel shoe, your foot can just glide and slide across the front of over the top of the track, and it just makes it easier to turn.
Sounds like a horror movie when someone's coming up behind you in the pits on this concrete pit area, that's for sure.
Very awkward to ride, to walk in, yeah, but without having one on and ride, they're a nightmare.
Minute and a half to run to get the boys back out on the line, and Darcy Ward coming out there as well. So there is a time limit that exists here. It's about 1:20 left for these guys to get the tapes, Jono. How does that work?
Yeah, from when the referee puts on the 2 minutes, then they do have a timer down there. You can see it from the start line. It's always, there we go now, it's on a minute 10, minute 9 counting down. If they are not at the start, ready to start within that time limit, when it gets to 0, they're excluded.
Ty Woofenden from Scunthorpe in the UK, because he was born in England, lived most of his life in Perth, Western Australia. His dad rode as a resident at Claremont Speedway for so many years. And you know what the really cool part is? Ty finally won the Rob Woofenden Classic this year, just gone here in Western Australia. Won the race that honours his dad's memory. That must have been an amazing night, Jono.
Yeah, Ty's won a lot of big meetings, but he was absolutely stoked and over the moon to win that one. And not just his dad's meeting, that's a track where he really learned how to ride. And before he went to England, that's where he did 1,000,000 laps to set him up.
Little Pinjar Park, a tiny little bull ring near Wanneroo, near Neerabup in Western Australia. As we see Darcy preparing to go back after it. So we are missing Everson as a result of all this. The officials have excluded him from this.
Hey, and Darcy Ward coming off gate 4 with no one off gate 3, it can change the whole aspect of going into that first bend.
So there you go. Johnson ready to get after it. Exclusion for Everson.
Darcy Ward.
That could have gone either way for Darcy, and very good that the officials deemed him not responsible for the incident. He gets a big wheel, he gets a loose launch off. Woofenden, your leader. Ward climbs all over the back of Johnson. Here comes the Aussie on the outside. Johnson on the back wheel. Into turn 3, bar to bar, and Darcy takes him on the outside. Johnson comes back, and this is good for Ty. Right, get away when they do that.
Great for Ty, because even though we know how fast Darcy is, why he's battling it out with Andreas Johnson, it's letting Ty just get away and keep clear.
Darcy needs to get at least 2 points out of this. He pulls the bike back across the bottom, comes after Johnson. Ty is clearing out. Very good ride. The UK fans have been loving this. Darcy cannot get back at Johnson. There's a lap and a bit to go. Going to require something awfully special for Darcy to pick up in a second.
And I don't think he's got it, mate. He's really tried his hardest, and the harder he's tried, the actual more ground that he's lost on Andreas Johnson.
Checkered flag at the ready. What a moment for Ty Woofenden. This young man will get the win, and well ridden, son, on the back wheel. You got to be made of Milo. He's chock-a-block full of it. I saw him drink half a tin of the stuff last night. Well done. The UK flags are up. The Pommy fans are loving this. There'll be a lot of families in Western Australia going ape as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one, to be honest.
Thought you might
just
be.
Quietly.
You spent the morning with him. You spent most of the last couple of days with him. The Barmy Army waving the flags around, and Ty acknowledging the fans. Of course, he raced back in 2010 in the SGP. Didn't have the best result. He's a lot more mature and a lot more, I think, determined this time around. He gets the 3 points. Johnson 2 and Ward 1. Gee, the points are very interesting now. Let's add Johnson's tally. He's got 10. Darcy Ward still has 8. Hancock and Golub and Holder and Woofenden and Hampel all with 7.
Look at him there on 7, as I said, with Holder. You know, great ride in that last one. He's still on 7. Ty just has a win. He's on 7. You're definitely not safe there for a semi on 7, so the pressure is on.
And bear in mind that Greg Hancock is about to have his third ride. So here's a look at the restart once more. Darcy carried the front wheel a long time there, Jono.
Yeah, he didn't make a disastrous start there for gate 4. But he still, then it seemed, as I said, the harder he tried, he was trying inside, he was trying outside, he was really trying to turn that bike inside out. He lost ground on Andreas Johnson the harder he tried.
Greg Hancock will have to face the gate 4 hoodoo right now. Just see Ty, a bit of a wriggle, settled the ship nicely, and he's pretty good at these wheelies. He popped them pretty well most of the practice session yesterday, much to the delight of the fans. He's really got his game face on too, Jono. Not much conversation out of him this morning or last night.
No, he's thinking, mate. He's really serious. He's even though he weighs nothing, he's lost 6 kilos since Christmas. He's been training hard, and I believe this year he's having a real crack. He's got Pete Adams, who's his team manager at Wolverhampton, that's basically going to manage him in the Grand Prix this year.
Great.
He's at all of them other than this one, and Pete's been around for 2 million years, not just a million years. He's been around for longer than that. He knows pretty much everything about Speedway.
8:15. Needs to convert gate 1 to a win. Jagar needs to get on it. Tough night for him. Yeah, look out. Gate 4, can he at least get up alongside gate 1 as they get into turn 1 and maybe make Lindback work for it? That's going to be the tough call, isn't it? Antonio was greased lightning here last year. Had a very good finish to the season last year as well, Antonio, with a win at Torrent and also in Italy. The last 4 rounds, he was basically on the podium, had a phenomenal run.
Yeah, we haven't seen the best of the Rio Rocket so far today, mate. Because when a couple of people last year was surprised how well he went. It didn't surprise me at all. I know what he can do on a quad.
Very charismatic. Always got the headphones on with the tunes pumping. What's the iPod plan this time? Is it a win? Very good launch out of gate 2, but he missed very hard. He goes Zagar, Hancock through the middle, 3 wide out of 2, and Antonio is G-O-N-E gone. The Brazilian-born Swede is on it as we come back to the main straight for the first time. Johnson would be watching all of this because he's trying to see where Hancock is going to figure in the points as we go through this round. So Andreas will be watching very carefully from the spectator side of things to see where Hancock ends up. Right now, he's only going to get 1 point.
Hey, and careful there as well. Keeping it down low on that top corner. Everyone now is riding a much wider line. Greg holds it quite tight on this next corner going into. See, he's holding it down there. Watch this. Oh, no, he's drifted back up a little bit wider. But, yeah, no, he's not happy with how the setup is at the moment.
Buckley, the Slovakian, doing a nice job at the moment in that second spot. He won Corso, the GP in 2012 on a wild card. He's doing a pretty handy job at the moment in second. Coming after Lindback, Checker is out. Antonio delivers a very critical win. Vaculek, strong ride for him. Gee, Greg Hancock only able to get the 1 point from that gate 4 position. Zagar got a fantastic start, but drifted right out to the wall and lost that spot. This guy's just cool. To be born in Rio and be a Swedish rider, that's going to be the best of both worlds, doesn't it?
He's definitely got the best dreads in Speedway as well.
The Monster Girls are pretty fond of him, as most people are that meet him. Lindback, 3 points. Vaculek, 2. And Hancock, just the single. Zagar, unfortunately, missing out. Let's look at the points. Hancock should go to, gee, only 3rd out of that. A win would have put him equal with Johnson. That's why I said Andreas would have been watching that one with plenty of interest. Nice job for that man, Antonio Lindback. Here's the restart, or look at the replay of the start.
Yeah, no major surprise there with Antonio coming out of one, but also, you know, he hasn't set the world on fire so far, but I pretty much expected him to do that there once he's got the wind in his face, and off he went. But surprised me with Greg more than anything. Goes out of the start here off gate 4, cuts back, makes a good bend there. Like, Greg's in a commanding position here to go into second place as he comes off that bend down the back straight, and then goes from there, just drops back and drops back. So, yeah, I'd say there's definitely, I'd say, bike problems more than Greg not riding the bike right.
Remember last year, Jono, at this event, gate 1 and 2 were certainly the favourite positions, and everyone was talking about that. And then we got to this semi-finals time, and the guys were pulling really different gating numbers that surprised us all. Gate 3 all of a sudden became a sweet spot, and the whole thing changed as we got towards the really important, critical semi-final time of the night. I wonder whether that will happen tonight. We really haven't seen much out of gate 3 or 4 yet, as we see Freddie Lindgren has really been a bit more aggressive tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And as I said, I expect big things from Freddie this year.
Heat 16. Needs a win here critically.
Jason Bunyan.
Still trying to get another result for New Zealand. Kasperzak needs to settle. And Freddie, he needs to step it up as well. Right now, you can't afford to be around the 5-point mark because there's so many on 7 or 8.
No, and talking about the gates, as we go on, the boys have just got to watch the weather conditions, and how they prep the track is a major part in all of that.
Waiting on a launch. Peterson from gate 1 needs to make this every post a winner. Bunyan, great start for Bunyan. Lindgren came from 4 into second, make that 3rd. Bunyan's down. Jason Bunyan, the Kiwi, unloads on the back straight. We will go red here. And he climbs gingerly to his feet. Unusual place to crash too, halfway down the back straight, Jono.
Yeah, look at Bunyan there. See how he looks like? He looks like the Michelin Man. He wears like an inflatable air suit. It's like an airbag they have in a car that's joined to his bike, and when you have a crash, it immediately explodes to push it to save you. It's watch this there. That wasn't Bunyan's fault at all. He got taken out there. But as he hits the deck, see, as he gets up, you watch his race jacket. Look, he keeps going down to feel it. Watch his front wheel. The footrest here of Kasperzak clips Bunyan, knocks him into the fence, and then see Bunyan there already. He's exploded. His airbag has gone off in his race suit.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Gets up looking like a teenage mutant Ninja Turtle. You know, that sort of...
Look at his back there. Look how big the suit is. But, you know, it obviously helps save with core, body and back injuries.
Wow. Now, we're looking at the contact that was just made just then. It was Kasperzak who unfortunately made contact. Christoph really didn't do a huge amount wrong there, did he?
No, it wasn't like he tried to stick him into the fence. They're all coming off the bend. They all meet in the same position. Watch this here. On the inside there, Kasperzak gets pushed out to the fence. It's a hard decision to make, because even though Freddie lifts a little bit...
Can I just tell you too, I think that Bunyan looked down at his bike there at a critical moment coming off turn 2, like there was a problem with that bike too. You just see him, his head just looked down.
There we go. This is we just
caught it just a bit too far back.
Freddie Lindgren came off. He lifted a little bit. Kasperzak, you know, you you're going at 70 kilometres an hour, 75, 100 kilometres an hour or more, you only need to lift a couple of inches or move a little bit at that speed, and all of a sudden you're on the fence.
Recently became a dad and only got married 3 weeks ago, did Jason Bunyan.
What a honeymoon. I'll take you to the Speedway, love.
Yeah, here's a hot dog. Enjoy the night. So here's the New Zealand Flans getting right into it, the Silver Fern. But let's have a look. Coming off the turn, you tell me if it means anything at all. But Bunyan appeared to look down at his bike as he came off the turn. He's on the outside here. We may not see it from this angle. Just watch. It was just before that.
Yeah.
Before there was contact. Certainly an unusual place to get off the bike. He had no choice when his front wheel was taken just then. The ELF sponsorship on the side. As the UK-born multiple Kiwi champ takes a tumble. There's Casper Zak, the man probably in the centre of all this, the Casper Racing. Just waiting on a disqualification light here to come up.
Yeah, another tough exclusion there.
Bunyan excluded.
Bunyan excluded. It's another tough one. I don't reckon the referee's having a great day. But, the decisions have to be made. Bunyan would feel pretty hard done by.
Looking at this racetrack at the moment, Jono, probably difficult to see all of the angle here, but turn 1 and 2 and right way down the back straight into turn 3 is bathed in sunlight. Then going into turn 3 and then coming right out of 4 down to the tapes is in complete shadow. There's a good example right there of what we're talking about. Does that make a difference to you just seeing your racing line or where any bumps are? Is that disconcerting?
Definitely, because as you're coming into the corner, you're looking for the dark and the light patches in the track. The dark patches being the damper, wetter bits, and the light patches generally being the drier pieces.
There's Mark Plaisted, one of Aussie's best sidecar riders, enjoying the action and
having a bit of fun.
Also Mark Bassett there from Black Chrome Racing. Where are all the guys? There's a New Zealand sidecar event on tomorrow. A lot of the Aussie fans are going to stick around and enjoy that action as well. So Casper Zak climbs back on. Caspo, he really needs a win here as well. We're getting to the point now where you've got to be around 6 or 7 points at your least to be in the top 8 after your final ride, which will come up in this next bracket of heats. Top 8 go through to the semi-final. Then you have the fastest, or the first 2 from each of those 2 semis. They then go through.
We're looking down there on Nicky Pedersen's exhaust pipe, and they've all got these Kevlar guards now, which is a rule that you've got to have a guard over your muffler of the rear section. But Nicky's actually had one fitted to the front of his pipe, and sort of a safety thing. When you have a crash, a lot of times you end up under the bike, or you run into someone, you can burn them quite badly. So it's just a safety device that they've all got on the bikes now.
We have seen Nicky get off the bike on a couple of occasions last year, one notably and memorably in the final round when he clashed with Chris Holder and things got very heated indeed.
He's definitely not scared to do gymnastics on the motorcycle. He's been off it a few times.
Here's your restart graphic. Excluded Jason Bunyan. Disappointing for him. Caspo. Lindgren. It's been aggressive. I like that ticker, that right on the outside of Hancock earlier impressed me for Freddie. I caught him skipping rope just before the GP earlier today. Seems like he's in very, very good physical condition this year.
Yeah, like you said, he had that virus a couple of days ago, so I don't think he's 100%, but yeah, he's put in a bit of work over the winter to get pretty fit.
Nicky Pedersen riding with broken ribs from a crash he sustained only a few weeks ago. Back on the bike now. Watching Lindgren using the outside. Turn 2 seems to be pretty nice. A smoother run if he can get up about a 3rd track as Casper Zak comes up to Nicky. Lindgren on the bottom. This is going to be a pretty good race here.
Casper Zak is fast as. Look at him taking the high line here. Nicky's aware of that. Nicky's not going to cut back down the inside. He's not going to quite get his nose up enough to get in front of Nicky there.
Having a good look at Lindgren. Lindgren right in the high line. Very big, long run around the outside. Casper Zak going to have one more go at him. Can't quite get close enough, but he's got the added distraction of Lindgren all over him, so he can't really take a big chance. If he opens the door, Freddie's going to nail him. 1 lap to go.
And we're only going to see this racing line as it gets into this part of the meeting. This is when on that top corner. Look at Freddie go down low there, having a real... Oh, I think he's got there. He's got into 2nd place. What a turn.
Just say he had to be careful. Here he comes, coming up to Pedersen as well. Back on the inside comes Casper Zak. And Lindgren picks up 2. Nicky bangs 3 into the bank, and that was critical for him.
last lap by Freddie Lindgren, fair play there. But Kasperczak, even though he'd be kicking himself giving that point away, quite lucky to even be in that rerun.
A three-time world champion on screen right there, 2003, 2007 and 2008. And runner-up in last year to Chris Holder in that dramatic final at Torrens. 121 Grand Prix to his credit, 13 of those he's won. Series average of 12.02. When he won in 2008, it was 15.8. Peterson gets the 3 points. Lindgren second, and that shuffles the deck even further. Lindgren comes into that 8th position. Nice job for Jonsson, sitting on top right now. NickyPeterson.com, the website where you can find it. He's got a very upright riding style, Nicky, hasn't he? Sits very upright on the bike.
Yeah, and he's just so determined. You know, the way he sits on the bike, a lot of times he doesn't flow with it. He's wrestling it, but you know what? He's fit, he's strong, he's determined. Last year as well was like a shot in the arm, and it got him back up there. Again, it sort of proved to him and the people around him that he's still there. He can still do it after 2 mediocre seasons. Back in fighting for the World Championship, and he feels like a kid again.
Watching Lindgren go in the hard yards, certainly doing the long way around. He finally got by Kasperczak. Entertaining heat, considering we only had 3 riders. Nicky's got the sleeves rolled up, literally, Jono.
Yeah, over the years he's had a few problems with arm pump, and he's had operations actually on his forearms, Nicky, to combat the arm pump problem. So he always lets his arms cool down and tries to relax before his next ride.
You gotta love the Polish fans. They do really enjoy this. That, of course, was their second last ride. We only have the one individual ride now for each competitor to get their final bank of points. Great crowd here on this back straight in particular. They are jammed in around the Western Springs Speedway. The Buckley Systems 2013 FIM Speedway Grand Prix. 2012 was an epic event, and this year has really delivered as well. If anything, I think the heat racing's been better than last year, Jono.
I think the whole Grand Prix series, all of them now, are just so exciting to watch. I mean, it's, you know, I've been around Speedway for a long time like yourself, but even if you look at a lot of other motorsports, you know, the races are normally, you get the 4 laps done in around 60 seconds. You've got 20 heats to watch here. There's always a bit of controversy. I just think it's an exciting thing to watch.
Single-cylinder 500cc engine that punches out what kind of horsepower?
You get anything from 55 to 65 horsepower, but your power-to-weight ratio is incredible. You know, the bikes weigh 78 kilos.
Steve Brandon is down the pits. There's plenty going on down there. We'll be crossing to him at some point.
Z nami, proszę Państwa, Jarosław Hampel, a więc trzeci z naszych reprezentantów. Jarek, 7 punktów teraz, jeszcze przed Tobą ważny bieg, bardzo istotny, też z drugiego pola. No i właśnie, chciałem zapytać o te ustawienia, które dzisiaj, bo widać, że na tych polach sprawiają psikusy, znaczy pola sprawiają psikusy dokładnie, no i drugi start z drugiego pola, lepiej czy gorzej?
Na pewno dobrze, te wewnętrzne pola są dzisiaj, wydają się być lepsze. Te pola startowe dość upadają wynik tego turnieju.
Jason Crump, first time not on the SGP in such a long time. What an amazing career, Jono.
Yeah, unbelievable, you know, and you've got to make the decision when the time is right, when you've had enough, you've had enough. And, you know, Crump is a family man, he's married with a couple of kids, and they've been travelling between Australia.
No i niezwykle skoncentrowany jesteś przez całe zawody, to jest raczej oczywiste, ale u Ciebie w boksie zobaczyłem spokój. Nawet po tych jedynkach generalnie nie było jakichś nerwowych ruchów i szukania ustawy.
No nie panikujemy.
He's definitely still a brilliant rider. You don't just lose that. But, you know, you've got a lot of decisions to make. The guy's won 3 World Championships. He's been in the top 3 for 10 years in a row. An incredible career, and he's just time for him to move on and do what him and his family want to do now.
To trzymamy nie 1, nie 2, a 3 kciuki za ten kolejny bieg. Dziękujemy, Jarosław Hampel, dziękuję.
In Speedway history. From a top 10, from a top 5, from a podium, from a national championship, from a not a national championship haul, but a world championship haul. There has been none better.
Yeah, no one could question that at all. But you know, like he's made the decision, and fair play to him. Whatever he does, I'm sure he'll be successful in it.
Wonderful to see that Lee Adams continues to work on his path to recovery. The 10 times Australian champion lives now with his family back home in Mildura in Victoria. Great little hot spot, and Olympic Park Speedway will always be one of his great homes and one of the places of many of his wonderful triumphs, and Lee continuing to recover from that injury in the desert race. We're going down to Steve Brandon, who's right down with the hammer, Yarrick Hampel.
Yarrick 7 points with 1 to go. Need some more.
Yeah, what can I say? What can I say more? I need the point, of course, if I want to get through in the final, in the semi-final race, of course. It's not that easy today, you know. I've got a little bit trouble with the setup on my bike, you know. It doesn't work same good like last year. I need to use a little bit different equipment because the track is a little bit different. So the best thing is, you know, to find a good line and, of course, make a good gate and try to go the fastest like I can, you know.
Is that the hardest thing to find today? A good setup that gets you off the start?
Yeah. Yes, that's right, and it's very important to go, you know, very good line, you know. It's I don't know, you need to race the first turn, you know, a little bit different than another one. So yeah, it's pretty complicated.
More points to come. Hopefully, we'll see you in the semi-final. Thanks.
Hope so. Thank you.
Well, Emil's saying it himself. Bike setup issues at the moment. You have to have everything working for you, don't you? Out we come for this final group of heats. It's amazing, John, there's so much anticipation. It takes so long to get here, and it goes by so very quickly. Here we are facing the last bracket of heats before the semis. Thomas Golub about to come out. This will be a cracker as well, heat 17. So there he is on screen, Thomas Golub, a rare 0-point haul in his previous ride. He's coming out of gate number 1 here. Fifth and final time, we'll see him, of course, starting straight after the track grade. It's something he was cursed with. I don't think it works for you, does it, after every track grade?
Yeah, it can work for you or against you. It depends. Some tracks, when they get really rough, it's great to be out there straight after a prep. Not particularly here today. The track hasn't really been a problem. A couple of little bumps, but nothing major what these guys can't handle. Interesting there as well, Freddie Lindgren's out in heat 16 and he's out again now in heat 17, so he wouldn't have had time to do an awful lot to his machinery, but he had a good ride anyway. I don't think he'd need to do an awful lot.
You would back Thomas Golub in this situation as he prepares for battle. Final ride for Thomas. Time to get 3. Interesting to see how he goes in this one.
Freddie Lindgren.
Lindgren becoming a bit of a muscle man.
Martin Buckley.
Buckley started quickly, just maybe tapered off just a little, and from gate 4 it's going to be a big haul for him.
Yeah, also there's Safudinov there, just watching everything that's going on. But also for Buckley, he last year came in as a wild card, so no pressure on him and did really well. Now he's in it full time. That can change your mindset. He's still a young fella, and maybe just the whole event, travelling down here to New Zealand, being a full-time Grand Prix member, you know, he's got a bit on his shoulders.
Waiting on the launch, Holder watching, the current world champion. Let's see if anybody can make gold out of 3. Very good launch from Lindgren out of 3. Golub, your leader. Watching now as Buckley rockets back up the inside. So Lindgren looks strong early. Golub goes to the bottom. They drift up track, and here comes Lindgren. He's aggressive this year, is Freddie.
He's going to have a real go, but he needs to make something here from his last ride.
Bakulek hanging on to both these lead riders here at the moment. Out of the shadows we come. Off turn 4 down the main straight. 2 down, 2 to go. Great shot from the wall cam then. Nothing in this. Golub is leading, but he's not by any means got an easy lead. Back to turn 4 we run. Lindgren lively. Is he going to be able to hold on? Everson starting to show some good speed as well. Freddie's going to have one more go at him. Down into turn 3. Can he make it stick? Look at Freddie. Well done, Golub. Bangs the final 3 in. Oh, nothing in that for second. So in your opinion then, who was second? That was close.
Yeah, Everson just got there, mate. You know, you feel for him there where he missed that race before, but still that's not going to be enough to get him through as far as I'm concerned.
Critical 3-point haul for Golub as we head to the semis. Everson will bang second with 2 points in, and Lindgren just the 1 point. That's going to hurt. Let's have a look now. It puts Golub safely, you would think, into the, well, certainly into the semis. Johnson, Hancock still to ride again. Ward still to ride again. Lindgren with 8. Is that going to be enough to get him into the semis? We'll find out soon. It's going to be tough. Thomas off the bike. Critical gate 1 at the very end. Not a bad way to finish off your heats, is it, Jono?
Nah, good. I mean, exactly what he needed. And Thomas is just building up to this semis and the finals. He's not going to make the same mistake, I would think, that he did last year after having a cracking meeting and not making it to the final.
Yeah. That hurt, didn't it? We all expected him to be in there. He was in such good touch getting into that final ride. Look at the replay here. Thomas down low. Everson and Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie made a big mistake there. You know, made a pretty good start off 3, but then just drifted wide and wide and wide and let give Everson enough room. But good finish. Freddie came back, but it's all too late.
Heat number 18 is going to be a screamer as well as Thomas.
Look at that.
Hasn't even got a sweat.
3-1-0-3.
Not even a sweat up on that bloke.
No. He's actually even too serious to sweat.
That would seem to be inconvenient. This is going to be a cracking heat, Jono. Ty Woofenden up against Chris Holder. Throw in Nicky Peterson as well. Throw in the wild card of all wild cards, Antonio Lindback.
Nicky Peterson.
Gate 1 critical.
Ty Woofenden.
Having a good GP.
Chris Holder.
Wow, they're tied, him and Ty.
Antonio Lindback.
And Lindback plenty to play for.
And between these guys now, all being on, 2-on-7, 2-on-6, who beats who is going to be who gets into the semis, isn't it?
Yeah, wow. Tough. Very tough call. So Holder, stacks to play for here for him. Well, all of them, really. Ty Woofenden, he'd love to get into the semis on debut in 2013. What can he do here? Time to go. Last ride for all these boys if they can get into the semis. Peterson gets a good launch. Holder gets a good launch. Woofenden and he go bar to bar out of 2. Holder winds it up. Ty like a rocket through the middle. Well done, Woofenden.
And Nicky again with a big comeback towards the end of the meeting. Look at Holder around the outside. He's got that thing wound right up. He's got a lot of speed on Ty here.
Nothing in it down the main straight. Here comes Ty coming up to Peterson. Oh, this is good riding. They are absolutely second twist of the grip here. Again, Holder trying to make the outside work. Chris, I think he's going to run out of time unless he gets a rocket launch out of 2 here. Oh, Woofenden almost hit the back wheel of Peterson.
Wheel stood over the back of his mudguard to miss it.
That was an unbelievable ride. There's one to go. Ty taking on Peterson. Well, Peterson got screwed up. He lost a lot of ground and Woofenden coming at him. This is an amazing race for the lead. Peterson will tie it up, or will he? Ty comes back.
That was a great ride by Ty. It's so clever. Inside, outside. And how he did that, when he hit the rut and lifted, I just thought he was going to plough straight into the back of Nicky.
Geez, not the point Holder needed. Only the 1 point. What a ride from little Ty.
That could be the ride that keeps Holder out of the semis, mate.
Peterson, he wouldn't have known just how close that became to disaster. There he is on screen. It started very slowly. It's been getting better and better. Heat 18, he gets the win. But Woofenden had everybody's heart in their mouth then. Here's your results and your critical points. Peterson 3, Woofenden 2, Holder 1, Lindback. Disappointing by his own standards here tonight.
And Ty wasn't going to settle for the second place, was he? Right to the end. He wasn't thinking just getting enough points for the semi. He was thinking about winning the race and passing Nicky Peterson.
Now this is critical for Holder. He only has the 8 points. So Fudenov, he can upset the apple cart here. I think if Fudenov can get a couple of points here, he may put Holder out of the semi. Nicky got a great start. Nothing in it between Ty and Holder, but we know what we're looking for is the replay coming off turn 2 a little bit later.
I'm hoping so. I want to see it again. I was holding onto the chair here.
You were under the chair, admit it.
But that's where that inside can be so dangerous if you're not ready for it. You know, like you can actually hit those ruts.
Here we go. Watch.
Boom! Oh, it must have been millimetres in it from hitting that back wheel.
Holder did everything he could to get the outside working and couldn't. And Ty, very, very
That's
close.
a good confidence boost, though, for Ty, though, to have a ride like that against Chris Holder and Nicky Pedersen.
So Nicky, wondering what his point situation is now. I was watching, interestingly, I think Safudinov, if he has a good result here, this will be a glancing blow to Holder. He's got 8 points.
Look, you've got to look a couple of ways, mate. Last year, yes, 100%, as the current world champion, to not make it to the semis.
Yeah, going to be tough. Safudinov's got a good gate.
Jarek Hampel. Andreas Jonsson.
He's been rock solid, Andreas. Bano, is he back? He is. So we're going to have to wait one more heat race to see whether Emil can get up there. The man in white has been the man to beat tonight. AJ, rocking the house here.
Saying, as we were talking before, though, with Chris Holder, yes, a disaster if he doesn't make the semis, but he's made double the points he made here last year, and still went on to be world champion. So, you know, it's still a long season to go yet.
Waiting on a start. Heat 19. Good launch by Zagar, proving that inside gate is the place to be. Hampel in second, AJ in third, Bunyan in fourth. Not the best start by Johnson, but you would think he doesn't have to do a huge amount to get himself at least into the semi. And finally, Zagar starting to show some speed. Matty Zagar, nice work over Hampel. Back to Johnson, back to Bunyan. Johnson winding up turn 3. Nobody really making the outside work. He crosses back to put a move on Hampel. There's nothing in it with 1 to go.
But look at that now, the turnaround. Zagar hasn't done much all night. Out there in front, absolutely flying.
Well, he gained it very well in his last ride too, Johnny, but he just turned in a bit too late in one and drifted up track and lost 2 spots. He certainly didn't do that this time. Watching Hampel, enormous pressure now from AJ. Andreas Johnson coming at him as we head down the back straight for the last time. Well done, Matty Zagar. Gets himself a win. The 30-year-old, very good job, the Slovenian, an 11-time Slovenian champion.
And puts Hampel up onto 9 points.
So there you go. Very interesting situation right there. So on screen, the Slovenian fans, plenty to be pleased about from Matty Zagar's point of view.
Darcy Ward and Greg Hancock, both on 8 points with 1 ride to go. Exciting stuff, mate.
Here's the result right now. Zagar, Hampel and Johnson, 3, 2 and 1 respectively. Golub and Johnson now goes to the top by 1 point over Thomas. Nicky Pedersen, Woofenden, Hampel, Hancock, Ward, and now Lindgren and Holder. So Holder has 8, Lindgren has 8. Oh, it's a nervous time, Chris, isn't it? It could go either way, son. This is critical. This ride right now, I think from Safudinov's point of view, is critical. Here's the replay of the restart, of the start situation, and Matty nailed this one beautifully. Kept it down nice and low. He was 7th in 2006. He's back to the series after getting through the SGP Challenge qualifier, and very happy to be racing on home turf this year with Crisco picking up a round of the championship.
Yeah, great, and I think as the season progresses, he'll pick up speed as well, doing more meetings throughout Europe.
Looking very tough for Holder to get through to the semis. Checkered flag falls. Let's hope it hasn't fallen yet on Chris Holder's assault here on the Buckley systems. FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix for 2013. If we take a look at Emil Safudinov, he could put the nail in right here if he hasn't already. We did see Lindgren and Holder both on 8, but Holder being positioned in outside that, behind Lindgren.
Yeah, well, normally when it comes to riders on equal points.
Hancock a chance here to bang 3 more in. Gate 2, he's got a good chance.
Darcy Ward.
Darcy out of 3, that's interesting. And Casper's starting to show some ticker late in the event. So what do you think?
Well, mate, when riders are both on equal points, it's who beat who when they race together.
Wow.
And that's how they go back on it there on the countback.
So Fudinov, I think, has only the 7. He needs to score at least 1 or 2 points here. And you would fancy he's a chance to do that out of gate 2, but he's got Darcy alongside him. So mathematically, this is still anyone's. great launch from Safonov. The Russian's in the lead. Darcy's in the third. He drifts wide. Oh, this is critical for Holder. Safonov is currently got 3 points as Darcy winds it up on the outside. Ward in the second.
Look at the speed he's got on Greg Hancock.
Here comes Darcy. He's going to have a crack at Safonov here as well. Superb racing into 3. Darcy's got the speed. Here he comes again. Oh, yes. The crowd just went nuts here. He puts the low percentage pass and the Russian comes back. Emil says not yet. Oh, this is beautiful. Ward switches to the back. Into the inside. 1 to go, Jono.
From outside to inside. Look, Safonov here's got the speed again. Safonov will not give him enough room to do that again. No chance at all. Look, Darcy's going to go right the way around. He has. He's got the speed to go around him again.
Here we go. Run to the checker. Yes. One-handed. And the crowd goes absolutely ballistic here at Western Springs. And an acknowledgement from Darcy to Safonov then and said, well done, son. They gave each other the room. Exactly like we saw Hampel and Safonov last year. Same kind of race.
And everyone's been pumping Darcy up. Like I said, sometimes just let him get on with his racing, but exciting stuff like that, which isn't a one-off. To see this guy do that, yeah, he's pumped.
Wow. Wow, wow. Safonov will bury Holder, though. That's the interesting part of that. Ward's your winner from Safonov and Hancock. Kasperzak, no points there. The place has just gone mad. Everybody doing the points. You can see them looking down their programs, trying to work it out. That's why he's one of the most explosive riders in the world. And oh, Chris, yeah, the look on his face says it all. Am I in or am I not?
Funny at that start as well, mate. Everyone wasn't so still. There was a bit of movement there at the start, but they let it go. You got Greg there on the inside, sort of got trapped down low. And
look how rough it is down the drive.
Yeah, you don't really want to be riding through that if you can help it. But Darcy fishtailed big time out of the start. Look at him in third position there, and he snaked all the way to the first bend. The thing went side to side. Oh, I found it quite pretty incredible that the fact that he went around Safonov come back, he went under Safonov, then he went around again for the third time. I didn't think he'd get a chance to go around again.
Snatches the tear off when he's already twisted the pin twice, and here's the final corner. Nothing in it. And Emil, to his credit, didn't squeeze him, gave him the broom, and the crowd went absolutely ballistic.
I think Darcy was coming through from anywhere.
Could be just any kid, really, on a corner, enjoying a Speedway event, but he's not. He's one of the most explosive talents in the world of Speedway motorcycle racing, and that's why. Incredible. Started off well, seems to be finishing well as well. The points coming up very shortly will be extremely interesting as we now get to dusk here in Auckland, New Zealand for the second running of the Buckley Systems 2013 New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. Has been a great event, Jono. We're coming up to semi-final time here shortly.
The business end of it all, Wade.
Yeah. Has there ever been a quiet point at all? Since we cracked it open in the first heat, they've had to get after it, haven't they? And hard. There's been no easy rides. So Chris sucking down some monster. It's a nervous wait for him. I can't see that he's going to make it through.
No, I don't think there's any weight, mate.
There was just that one heat race where you were concerned about his bike. He just felt that he didn't have that bike speed.
Well, no, not just that. He didn't look right on the bike. He didn't look like his normal self. Whether he wins or loses, he's always riding the wheels off the bike. He didn't look like that. And then as soon as he pulled up, he was shaking the bike, looking down at it. He was checking things on around the handlebars and the headset. So if something was loose or not correct, he wasn't being able to ride it properly. Not making excuses at all, but it looked like that from me.
Semi-final number one. Here's the standings. Now, ooh, Chris Holder's in. Is that the way he's positioned? Looks like he's in. Ward, Jonsson, Golub, Peterson, Hancock, Woofenden. What a result for Ty. Hampel, and has Chris Holder snuck in? Has he kicked the fly-wide door open?
Mate, the skin of his teeth, I really hope he has.
Because Lindgren would have thought that Lindgren and he were too locked on those points together, so maybe when they faced each other, as you said, Holder had the one-upmanship in that one. Jeez, a lot of anticipation here before they announce this to the crowd as to who's in and who's not. And really, all you have to do is get yourself to this point, Jono. It doesn't matter how you got there to the semis. Once you're in there, then you go after the final. If you can lock yourself in.
Well, look at Nicky Pedersen.
Yeah.
Started off with 2 noughts, 3 wins. He's in and can still in contention to go out and win the Grand Prix. After the first 2 rides, you wouldn't have put money on him doing anything, would you?
We're still looking too at how Gate 3 and 4 have played their roles in victories here this afternoon and how critical that's going to be. Now, the guys get lane choice very soon as well, Jono. How does that work?
Depending on what points that you've finished on, obviously the more points you get first choice.
So, Jono, explain how this works here.
Well, the guys can go up there. Whoever's got the highest points goes up and chooses what gate he wants and then goes down for that heat. They split the guys up over 2 heats. So, Darcy Wood and Andreas Johnson, the top 2 point scorers, they'll be in first one and the second one.
So first, 4th, 6th and 7th in points right now.
Yes.
They will be, here we go, Darcy Ward, as a result, being the highest points man. He will now make the choice. He picks gate 1, no surprises there.
Yep.
I think it should be AJ here or Nicky. It's Nicky Pedersen. He'll make the gate choice here. And he'll usually put this on his excellent logo, as he usually does. There he goes, puts it on his arm. Very clever how he does that. He picks gate 2. Again, no surprises. Now, spare a thought for Ty. He's not going for gate 4, I'm sure of it. Gate 3. He's picked it up. Good
thinking. From the big boys.
He did, didn't he? Good work. So, well, Yarrick says, I guess I got gate 4.
Yeah, you just go through the motions then, but it's all part of the deal. You get your gate 4 and away you go.
Puts it next to his Red Bull drink bottle. So Yarrick going to have to do it hard from there. So too is Ty. Spare a thought for Ty. He's got Nicky and Darcy in gate 1 and 2. So that's the way that you'll see them line up in this first semi-final. Darcy Ward, gate 1. Nicky Pedersen, gate 2. Ty Woofenden, gate 3. And Yarrick Hampel, gate 4. So, semi-final number 2. Andreas Johnson will get the first pick, being the next highest point scorer after Darcy. He picks gate 1, no surprise. This will be Thomas Golub now. Surely he won't pick gate 3. No. Not a huge amount of anticipation or drama around this. And Greg Hancock...
He should pick gate 4 just to mess with us.
Is he going to? No. Is it great? Now Chris Holder is in. And it's out of gate 4.
Hey, but he's still there.
Yeah, I know he's still there, but God damn, it's hard.
Talking 5 minutes ago, said that he was out, and he's still in the hunt.
He's starting out of Palmerston, though, mate. She's a long way off the quick line, isn't it, gate 4? That's how they'll line up in that second semi. So he slides in, as you said, made it in by the width of a Monster Energy sticker. Here's what's coming up ahead of us. Going to have to work hard from the outside. Gate 3 in with a chance, having a great GP.
Nicky Pedersen.
How good's his comeback tonight?
Darcy Ward.
A stick of dynamite about to go off.
Chris Holder.
Snuck in. Now can he make the most of it?
Greg Hancock.
Business-like.
Thomas Golub.
How can you write that guy off? In the semis this year.
Andreas Johnson.
Clearly one of the fastest 2 riders here tonight. Having a blinder is AJ. So we wait, track preparation done. We get set for 2 semi-finals and then the final. We need to get the fastest 2 from these 2 semis. Crowd on the edge of their seats. This is going to be a rip snorter, Jono. There's the hardware.
Yeah, you know, and we're talking about this already with they're saying that Chris Holder is going to be off gate 4 and da-da-da. It can also work in your advantage where sometimes the guys off the inside, the guys off gate 1 and 2 can mess each other. Look at the stats here. But the guys off the inside there can mess each other up going into the bend, and sometimes even though you might not make a great start, they can hold each other up the first bend and you can still nip up the inside, or you've got options. So, you know, you've still got to stay positive about it.
Well, here's a look at how Gate 3 has actually been 1 win better than Gate 2. So that's interesting. And everybody went who had that second points. Everybody went straight for Gate 2, not for Gate 3 in that situation. So interesting the way that all panned out.
Yeah, definitely. Look, they're all having a great time.
Oh, Blaisted, still having a good time there, that's for sure. It is a wonderful atmosphere at an SGP, and this is the closest chance for those in the Southern Hemisphere to get to one of these. The events overseas, and particularly in Poland, must be quite amazing, Jono.
They are. You know, there's a lot of really good ones. Poland's Polish Speedway always stands out, but Cardiff to me is the creme de creme. You know, to go to Cardiff in an enclosed stadium, you know no matter what happens, whether you travel from the other side of the world or not, you ain't going to be rained off at Cardiff.
Yeah. Whether you ride your bike in 220 kilometres from a couple of days before, like Ty Woofenden's going to do.
Yeah, definitely. You might be riding in the rain on the push bike, but he won't be when he gets there for the business. But Cardiff as well, you come out of the stadium and you walk out into the shops and the retail stores, and it's like being in the, well, it is, it's being in the middle of a major city. And the Speedway track's there. You don't, once you get to Cardiff for the weekend, you do not need to drive a car for the next 2 or 3 days. It's just a great party atmosphere, the track, everything about it. They've built it into a great event, and I think anyone, Speedway fan or not, if you're half interested, go and have a look at that one, because it's a ripper.
So looking at these semis, is there anybody that you're surprised to see in it or surprised not to see in it, Jono?
No, I'm not, mate. I probably expected... I was really thinking that Freddie Lindgren would have been in there. Emil Safudanov early on, I thought he was going to do something there, limp back. But as we say, we keep saying any of these guys can win. So when you've got a star-studded field like this, you've got to have, quite often throughout the year, there's going to be someone outside the top 8 that you think should have been in there.
As usual, the quiet before the storm for Thomas Golub. Hold it to the max, they say. We're getting set for the first semi. Going to be a screamer. So you have to be first or second, Stephen Johnston, in order to go through to the final. The big dance, what they're all here for. Championship points get collected throughout the course of the evening. You still get points for being in the semi and indeed in the final, but your championship points throughout the night continue no matter what.
Yeah, the system different to how it used to be. You still, every point counts, especially when you get towards the end of the year. If you might be trying to just stay in the top 8 or qualify, or even down to World Championship points. Every point from the beginning to the end of the year is the utmost important.
Jarek Hampel on screen. Ty Woofenden set to go as Chris Holden prepares to go out. Keeps pointing at the helmet. The #1 rider in the world, the youngest man to do that at 25 years of age. Set now for semi 1.
Darcy Ward.
Gate 1. What can he do with the young Turk? Ty's punching and punching on.
Jarek Hampel.
Has the capacity to do something pretty spectacular here, does the Hammertan.
Look, as much as Darcy deserves to have the choice and be off gate 1, and I want to see him go out there and, do his best like he always does, wouldn't it have been a lot more exciting if we'd had Darcy off gate 4 and we knew he was going to have to work for it? You know what I mean? He's still got to do the right thing off 1, but having the odds against him would have been quite exciting here.
How does he go with pressure, Jono?
Oh,
this is a pressure situation right here.
He's had a fair bit of pressure on him, last season, and bits and pieces going on, and in his results, he seemed to handle it quite well. He was still on the gas.
Here we go, Nicky Peterson. The eyes wide open as we go. Peterson, a great start. Darcy, a shocker. Comparatively, Peterson, you'll lead it. Look at Hampel. Here comes Jarek. I said to you he'd be a rocket. Look at him on the outside, Jarek Hampel. Darcy Ward outside the final right now. He's going to have to get by Nicky. Hampel is screaming from gate 4. Well done, son. Now Darcy coming after Peterson. What a race, Stephen. It's all to play for here, son.
And after the track prep there, I don't think that wide line where Darcy went around the outside is there now. They've just taken away that berm that he was using. I think after just having a crack there, he's realised that he's going to have to go out wide and cut back and try and straight line it down the inside of Nicky.
Ty Woofenden in that 4th position. I don't think Ty's going to get through. Darcy winds it up. It's going to have to be a superhuman last lap for Darcy Ward. Peterson running the consistent line through the middle. Darcy comes at him. I don't think he's got time, Jono, but what a ride from Jarek. Yarrick Campbell out of gate 4.
And there wasn't much room down that back straight as well. The gap he went through up against the fence.
Massive, massive ride. Holy cow. Hammer time here at Auckland. Well done, he's still pumping up. Darcy begun it. He didn't get a good start, Jono. It just did not come off the line. Peterson, a great launch. Here's the result. Hampel goes through. So does Nicky Peterson. Darcy Ward will end up missing out, and so too will Ty Woofenden. He did a great job just to get there.
Look at this though, like Darcy Ward, he's not in the final, okay, but he's still on 12 points. We're still looking to the World Championship down the year, and he's started off his Grand Prix campaign very, very well.
What a start from that gate 4. It's not that you can overlook the guy because he's just a rocket, but not a good start.
As soon as Darcy dropped the clutch, he lifted, then went sideways and didn't really make the most of gate 1. Like we're all saying gate 1's great, grade 1's great. We might have put the jinx on him, but look at this down the back straight, and Hampel then there. This is on this big track where you don't really need to turn it. You lean it over and just keep those wheels in line and get the speed. And I didn't honestly believe that Hampel had the speed to go all the way around Nicky Peterson in this corner. Look at him there.
You know who probably enjoyed that ride better than anyone? The man is about to gate from 4 as well, Chris Holder.
Yeah.
He faces a similar situation. So Yarrick Campbell has just spoken very loudly to Chris Holder, not vocally, but with the bike, saying it can be done.
And not just that, Hampel's just mucked all our stats up on gate 4, isn't he?
Well,
very inconsiderate, that.
I wonder what they're going to pick now coming into the final, because they'll get that choice as well. So Nicky sitting down, what a dramatic difference, as you said. Started with 2 centres of a donut this morning, early today.
Hey, and that's a show of a real champion, to turn it around like that when you're under pressure.
Semi-final number 2.
Andreas Jonsson.
Been on fire all night.
Thomas Golub.
Yeah, rock solid.
Greg Hancock.
How can you write that guy off?
Chris Holder.
How do you stop Holdo from the gate 4 position? It's a big ask. Look at all those monster hats on those guys. Andreas Jonsson probably feeling a bit insecure. Doesn't have a monster hat. Darcy disappointed, but hey, what a ride, son. What a ride today.
He's let him know that he's here for the season, hasn't he?
Oh, hell yes, he has. So here we go. Last roll of the dice to see who goes to the big dance to join Nicky Peterson and Yarrick Campbell. Hold his eyes. Look at those. Good to go here at Western Springs. Great launch from gate 2 by Golub. Jonsson down low. Holding, it's a good run off the bottom. Goes into 3rd. Has some speed into 3. Here comes a defending world champ on the high side coming after Jonsson. He's got the speed, Jono. He's got the speed.
He has, but on this next corner, this is where if he keeps it... Look at Greg coming up the inside, though. Greg's going to take his thunder. There you go. Greg Hancock back into 3rd place, and then having to go around Andreas Jonsson.
So Holder has to switch to the bottom. There's not enough momentum down there, though. Golub has cleared out. Jonsson in 2nd, Hancock in 3rd. Again, Holder trying to make something of turn 2, but he can't do it. Hancock to the outside on Jonsson. Here comes the 2010 world champion. The 2 oldest men in the GP, looking to go 1 and 2. Holder, one last roll of the dice up high. Can't quite get enough off the turn.
Oh.
Hancock.
Hancock's got there.
Here comes Holder again. Well done, Hancock. He saves it. Between them, they're the oldest men in the GP and the craftiest. Golub and Hancock are through, and some emotion from Golub there.
Well, he's in the final now, mate, where he should have been last year.
Yeah.
He's got a chance to win this thing.
The Aussie fans on their feet to cheer Chris Holder regardless. Darcy Ward and Chris Holder not able to get through to the final. Hancock, that required a big set, didn't it? Had to go for it.
I didn't think there was a chance of him getting through on that one.
Critical, that outside move on Jonsson. So Golub and Hancock go through. There's the point situation. Golub now the leader overall from a championship point of view with 13 over Ward and Hampel. So Golub back in the cage to prepare. The monster guys are fully into it. So Thomas, what a way to get yourself in. They never got a chance to lay a glove on him, Jono.
Nah,
Just watching. Hancock back there in third. Really looked like he was going to struggle with that. Johnson, superb run from him. And a couple of times I thought Chris was going to get a run there, Jono.
Yeah, so did I, mate. And then with Andreas Johnson, as he came around that last bend as well, from being in a position where he is now, I'm quite sure he had a bit of machinery problems there.
Critical situation.
Have a look down the pits after.
You just saw Johnson look down, actually. Watch him come off this turn. If you get a shot of him, you can see him shut it down and look down.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he had that problem.
There is the elation of Thomas Goller. Now, who's going from where and what gate? Hampel's thrown a cat amongst the pigeons with gate 4, but I don't think anyone really wants to try that, do they?
No, I think if he's got the choice, he's not going to pick 4 again on purpose.
What a beautiful shot there of the sunset here in Auckland.
It's been beautiful weather the last couple of days, mate. It's really great to be here.
Mate, this is a wonderful, wonderful event put on by Bill Buckley and their team here at Western Springs. It does take a big set of rotors to run an event of this magnitude. And it's been wonderful to see the fans support it and come out. If you're not here this year, if you missed it last year, make sure you're here next year, because it's going to be a blinder, and we need to support events like this. Truly a big effort. So no matter what happens, we're going to see a great final. I don't think it's going to be processional, Jono. Hancock squeezes himself in with just a last couple of corners lunge. Bunyan was lively early. I feel sorry for Jason having that crash. It really did take the wind out of his sails, didn't it?
Well, I put the wind in his sails. You saw that airbag go off when he hit the deck.
I might try one of those in my road car.
Mate, they're unreal. I think it's not a silly idea.
The Aussie fans still flying the kangaroo here. Still can't get over that ride from Hampel. Exactly what he needed to do.
And the Polish contingent here, as we said, there's a lot of them here, be loving it.
Tell you, the word Hampel rhymes with ample, and I think that's pretty well describes the way his jeans fit, because you have to have a very deep voice to go after that outside pass. So point situation, very interesting. The holder to the max fans. Steve Brandon is down the pits right now. Brando, it's all going on.
Chris Holder, no consolation, but more than double the points last year.
A lot better than 4, so it was a good night. You know, I was battling hard for the points, as everybody was. And, you know, I had nothing to lose off gate 4, so we made some changes, and I was pretty quick. When I had just me and AJ there for a lap, I thought I could get him, but left the door open and Greggy come ripping through, and then I was hoping they would keep battling because I was getting a good run on the outside, but need another couple of laps.
Chasing set up tonight?
Yeah, pretty much. Just, you know, we haven't done, none of these boys, we haven't raced like this for a long time, so we're a little bit rusty, and I think we found our bike was going good, just we had a flat front tyre in the race where I looked terrible, so I'm going to use that as the excuse, and the rest were good. I was making not too bad of starts, you know, 3 and 4 weren't the best, but you had to do what you had to do with it.
You proved last year it's a long season. We'll see you in 3 weeks in Europe.
Yeah, you will. See you there.
Interesting that point he just made then, Jono. You said it yourself. You felt he had some headstand problems or something like that with the bike, and he just clarified it then, a flat front tyre.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely he wasn't making excuses, I wasn't, but I knew there wasn't something right there for him. But also, Chris hasn't done a lot of racing. He's one of the guys that didn't go back. He hasn't been to Europe or to the UK to do any meetings this year. He stayed out here to, you know, practice a little bit, stayed out in Australia, practiced and got ready over his knee injury. So I think he'll get sharper as the year goes on.
Did a fair bit of riding at Nepean, his home track just there. Happy birthday, Jack. Of course, Jack Holder, who had a pretty good ride in that Best Pairs event, where he scored a win at Undera, where Big Brother scored the 18-point maximum there. It's the Holder family there. Great to have them here. Brando's in the pits. Looks like Thomas Goller was down there as well. And draw coming up. This will be interesting. What is Thomas going to pick? Gate 2. Ooh. Thomas goes for gate 2. Very interesting. Yarrick, will he go for gate 4? I don't think so.
Nah.
Ooh, hang on. Hang on. Gate 1. Was he just playing with us?
I think he was teasing himself.
Nicky's thinking, what do I do? It'd be gate 3, wouldn't it? Or did he like what? He's having a joke here with Hancock as to which way he should go, and he goes gate 3. There's the excellent plug he always gets in. Geez, Greg, what do you go for, son?
Yeah, I think I'll think,
Let me think about it, he says.
I'll think for it.
Yes, you will. So, a tantalising final coming up. Hampel picks gate 1. Golub gate 2. Peterson gate 3. And Hancock extreme outside. The polls, the fans will be very happy about that with 2 of their boys in the final. Here's a look at your final, how they're going to line up.
Greg Hancock.
It's a tall ask from gate 4.
Nicky Peterson.
Why not? It's been on fire towards the end.
Thomas Golub.
Out of gate 2. Very interesting.
Jarek Hampel.
From gate 4 to gate 1. Can he make it both sting, Jono?
Yeah, I think he can do it off gate 1, but it's just whether he's mentally tough enough to know, you know, Golub's been one of his heroes. Obviously, he's a major competitor of his now, but when he was a young fella, Golub being one of his heroes and iconic in Polish Speedway,
yeah.
Jarek Hampel's got to be strong as an ox and just think, I don't care if it's Thomas Golub or the milkman or whoever it is, I'm going to make the most of gate 1 and not give him an inch.
I know that Peterson's got a lot of fans, but I didn't know that one actually carries another one around.
Yeah, for years he's done that. He uses pretty much of a similar setup that we use cooling the engines and the clutches down on himself just to keep cool. It's just a battery-operated fan.
Obviously, it's not a hairdryer.
No, and if it is, it worked real well. It got rid of all his hair.
Did you see that? There's a bit of tension.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Guy just dropped the shoulder on him a little bit of contact, and
That's
Nicky
beautiful.
gave him the big glare.
Let's have a bit of biffo before we get on the bike.
That might be what Nicky needs.
That'd be great. Hey, I'd feel sorry for the other boys. If someone gave Nicky a rough up before he got on the track, imagine how angry he'd be.
How can we get a replay of that?
Yeah, no.
That was gold. So Hampel, there he is, right alongside him, already kitted up and good to go. So there is that cooling fan. Sure, he doesn't take that on the plane with him. He's just at the racetrack, yeah? It's the Polish fans. So they're young and old. There's a stack of them here. Remember, a lot of them came to Sydney too back in that 2000 event as well. There's a lot of Polish fans. They're so very, very passionate, aren't they?
Yeah, as I say, out there, Speedway is the #1 sport, so they worldwide they follow it.
So there they go, the Polska fans going off as we wait. This track now, in what condition is it compared to earlier? We now have no sunlight at all on it in any glaring way.
I think if we've seen it, you know, it's got slicker as we all knew it was going to get. And the high line on turn 3 and 4 that did have like a berm, like a railway line, like a groove you could head into and shoot you around, that's not really there now. So we did see Hampel do that big outside pass, though. That was a ripper.
Greg Hancock, the last one to go to his bike. He's been competing in this event since 1995. Has not missed a Grand Prix. 43 years of age, lives in Costa Mesa in California. Of course, the Costa Mesa Speedway, very well known, that tiny little joint. His son's becoming a hell of a rider as well. We get set for the final here at Western Springs. Here we go, Peterson coming to the line. This is it. What an event it promises to be. A monster. You could very well say all the distractions to the rest of the world a million miles away from these 4 men as they seek to win the Buckley Systems 2013 FIM New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix in front of a packed house. What do you like, Jono?
Mate, the way Hampel rode in that last heat and being off gate 1, I'm still a little baffled that Thomas Golub gave anyone an inside run on him with 1 at the moment, but I'm sure there's a method in his madness.
Absolutely.
He'll probably prove me wrong immediately, but Hampel's looking real quick to me.
Here's your final. What a prospect. He did it for a reason, as you said. Why not?
Greg Hancock.
Can you go the big one on the outside, Grin? This is going to be great. Hampel's certainly the baby of the field in this one too, Jono.
Yeah, but still very experienced, you know. He's been up there. He's had a second and a third in the World Championships. A couple of years of injury, so I think he's back on the up again.
This is a repeat of Heat 5 when you look at it. These guys all met. He broke an ankle in Copenhagen, this guy. Missed 3 months or 5 rounds of the competition, did Jarek Hampel. A 5-time Speedway World Cup member. Here we go. There he is, gate 1. Hammer time, Jarek Hampel alongside Gollum. Peterson, not a good launch for Hancock. Hampel gets the lead. Gollum through the middle. Peterson will come back at him. No. Gollum is too quick out of 2. Hampel is gone. Now Peterson has a speculator on the inside. Gollum closes the door. Here we come. Back down to the main straight. 1 down, 3 to run. Gollum still in that second spot. Right up on the wheel of Hampel.
As Gollum did in a couple of races last year, though, it took him a lap or 2 to get going, but he builds the speed up. He slowly builds up his momentum, and by the 3rd or the last lap, watch him go. Hampel's really going to have to be on his ball here.
Polish fans will be just waiting to get the 1-2 in if they can. Peterson in 3rd. Hancock a distant 4th. Now he drops to the bottom to try and pick up 3rd. 1 lap to go. Jarek, he came out of gate 4 in the semi, and he wowed everyone. Catch him here at Western Springs. It's hammer time here at the Springs. Jarek Hampel, you star. Brilliant ride. There's the GP. That's a great win.
And back to his best.
Look at the Polish fans. They are going mental. Just a great ride. Gollum 2nd. Peterson leans over and says, good job, son. He finishes 3rd. Hancock couldn't get up there after starting from gate 4. The Lesno fans are here as well, flying the Lesno flag. Great moments, plenty of emotion spilling out here at the Springs. Gee, what a critical ride from gate 4 in the semi, Jono.
Yeah, and then very clever as well. Once Gollum gave up gate 1, Hampel jumped straight in there, and I thought Gollum might have had the speed after a couple of laps to catch up on him, but great result there, and throws the cat amongst the pigeons.
Only round 1 of 12. It's a long year ahead. The Polish fans jubilant as Jarek wreaks havoc here at the Springs. Great comeback from Peterson. Here's your final results right here. 3 points for Jarek. Thomas, solid for 2nd. Peterson, a great salvage considering he had 2 0-point hauls in his first 2 rides. Championship-wise, Jarek and Thomas locked at the top here. Darcy Ward still 3rd, even though he didn't make the final. Peterson locked in with him in 3rd. Then Johnson, then Hancock. Ty Woofenden, great result for Ty this weekend.
Yeah, happy with that, and he'll build on it through the year. He keeps himself focused and he keeps on the track he's on. Yeah, he'll have a good year.
Now he gets to ride through the centre green, and nobody has done this all week. They keep this infield very nice and lush, but he's about to ride with the other podium straight down the middle towards the winner's prize. What an amazing result. He's a cool cat. He said he missed 5 rounds due to a broken ankle and came back very strong. It's the only reason he's riding with number 10, let's face it, he got injured.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, the Speedway Grand Prix people made the right decision putting him back in as a wildcard.
Absolutely. Here's a replay of the start. Good launch from Nicky. He and Thomas, handlebar to handlebar there.
But then there's first bend as Thomas is dragging Nicky wider and wider, and Hampel stays around the inside there, has a little lip. As he does that, they back off. Then once Thomas gets past Nicky, then he's got to then start chasing Hampel down. By then, Hampel's got clear ground enough to stay in front.
Thomas did get close a couple of times, particularly out of turn 2, which really seems to be where you make or break it. Photographers.
Hampel never crumpled under pressure. So it just showed that you asked the question and he just proved it, that he can do it under the pressure.
What a great feeling that must be. Look at the distortion, the low tyre pressure in that rear tyre. And there's the boys. What a great moment. Big kiss on top of the helmet. That must be a truly remarkable feeling, Jono.
Yeah, unbelievable. Really happy for him. One of the only guys with a Red Bull on his helmet.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right in amongst all of that. Great shots here as Jarek celebrates in style. It's been a tremendous event. We'll have our presentations here very shortly. Thomas already down there. And Nicky What a way to recover for him. Imagine if he'd got the win. That's a huge comeback after not being able to score any points early. And look at those eyes, steely eyes of a Red Bull fighter, if you will.
Nicky's still had a great Grand Prix, mate. He's got to be happy with that.
Let's go down to Steve Brandon right now with our presentations.
Jarek Hampel, a long way to come for your third Grand Prix win.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I'm really happy because that was a tremendous night. You know, tremendous evening. I didn't make, you know, very good at the beginning of this competition, but I go hit by hit better and better, and now in the end, you know, I'm winning. So that's very, very nice for me.
We had a chat earlier in the night about finding the setup to make starts. It came good at the end.
That was really difficult because even from game 4, I win the semi-final, you know, but I put in all my all experience and I was very focused on this gate, so that was really good. And the final race, you know, I've got a good gate and jump from the start and quick, you know, very fast.
Did Thomas taking gate 2 in the final surprise you?
Yeah, a little bit. I suppose that Thomas will take gate 1, but when he made a choice to take gate 2, you know, I have a smile on my face.
And back to Bydgoszcz with a 15-point haul, 15 with Thomas, equal at the top of the standings. Great start to the year.
Yeah, that's true. Especially after, you know, my after the last season, after my injuries, you know, I get back on the good level again, and I feel good. So please cross the finger, and I try to do a good job this year.
And a great way to come back after your injury last year.
Sorry?
A great way to come back after that injury.
Yeah, everything working very good again. So I hope I can, you know, keep my good shape and still go race good.
Congratulations, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
So championship points, as you heard Steve Brandon just say, a good 15-point haul alongside the man that's his hero, or certainly was, Hampel, 15, Gollop, 15. Nicky Peterson and Darcy Ward tied on third with 12. Hancock and Johnson tied on fourth with 11. Then Chris Holder and Ty Wolfenden. Let's go back to Brando.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2013 Buckley Systems New Zealand FIM Speedway Grand Prix, Jarek Hampel.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please be upstanding for the national anthem of Poland.
Plenty of very happy Polish fans. Thomas
New
Gollop,
Zealand
solid.
Grand Prix third place finisher, Nicky Peterson. Third place trophy to
Great
be
to see
presented
that
by FIM jury
Thomas got into the
president
final this year, because remember he was so
Wolfgang
awesome last year and didn't quite get to the final, knocked out in the semis.
Yeah, and also a boost like this for Nicky and for Thomas, both past champions. It's setting him up for the year to, you know, they're serious about this competition and back in with a run.
Trophy to be presented by Graham Wesley Davis of Porter Hire.
Thomas animated, big smile for him, second place.
See the photographers there take a very rare opportunity and get a photo of his teeth.
And the 2013 Buckley Systems New Zealand FIM Speedway Grand Prix champion, Jarek Hampel of Poland.
Presenting that award, a man who's put so much of his own time, effort and money
of Buckley
into this
Systems
event.
and Spring Promotions, Bill Buckley.
Yeah, as we all know, this wouldn't have all happened without many other people, but very importantly him.
Heading to Bydgoszcz for the next round of the championship, and Hampel in really, really good touch. Wow, been a grueling afternoon of competition. There's been no easy rides. Nicky gives the Monster Girls a pretty good spray down. What a huge boost that must be in your confidence, Jono, for someone like Yarrick to come back and start the new year with a win like this.
Well, as he said, a bad break to his leg last year and missed out most, or, you know, half of the season, the Grand Prix season. Not just that, he wasn't on the bike at all, so he's had to come back now, train and get into it.
So what do you think, what you've seen tonight, does it tell us much about the year ahead, do you think, Jono?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting. I think some of the guys, as we spoke about, that didn't make the semis, that should have really been there, they're going to want to pick their game up. The other guys that finished high up, they're going to be feeling confident going into the European season.
How spectacular Darcy Ward tonight?
Very spectacular, but still, even though he had one of the, I would say, probably the race of the night and looked so fast, you've still got to get there at the end of the night. You've got to get to finals.
So a happy man on screen right there is Yarrick Hampel. I still come back to that semi. It was such a critical win from gate forward that nobody, I don't think, really saw coming.
Well, mate, I would have lost money on it. I wouldn't have bet that he could come up forward and do that.
Stephen Johnson, has been a phenomenal event. The second New Zealand Speedway Grand Prix. Congratulations to everyone here at Western Springs. Hope we get to do it next year. It's going to be a blinder, mate.
Been an absolute pleasure to be here, mate, and let's hope that we can go on to possibly Australia and the USA as well. Bigger and better things.
Hope you've enjoyed our coverage, folks, of this fantastic event. Congratulations to all the riders. It has been truly epic. We've been loud in the land of the long white cloud, and well done, that man right there. Yarrick Hampel is your winner of the first 2013 Speedway Grand Prix of the year. We'll catch you next time, folks. What a great event it was. So some highlights of the day. There is Darcy Ward, all business. Lindback, not as happy as he would be at the end of the day. Greg Hancock, solid, another good kick-off. Kasperzak was lively at times, and that's the concentration it takes. So Footenhoff was hot and cold, Jono.
Yeah, like I say, he's one of the guys that I really expected more from, and we will see a lot more during the season.
Great to see AJ back in some good touch as well. Johnson had problems with his bike towards the end of the semi that may well have robbed him out of that. Great colour, some wonderful racing in front of a very enthusiastic crowd. And didn't the Polish fans absolutely love this? Darcy Ward, how busy every time he was on the racetrack.
Busy and exciting. We'd love to have him out there.
What a great finish that was too. Nicky Peterson being pushed all the way. Holder was certainly in good touch when he could be. Bad luck there for Everson going down when Darcy Ward almost took out AJ when he hit a rut in turn 3. Lindback, lively but not as fierce as he was last year. Bad luck for Bunyan going down on the back straightaway with contact there with Kaspro's bike. Fortunately, he was A-OK. And what a comeback from Nicky Peterson. Didn't even figure in his first 2 rides, and what a job from Ty. That could have been disaster. Chris Holder hanging on the edge all day, wasn't he? Certainly putting in the big ones was Darcy Ward, getting the crowd pumped up. And Hampel, just a phenomenal ride in that semi, along with Gollum, to get himself through. And then it came down to the final. And Gollum picked gate 2. For what reason, we don't know at the moment, but it gave Hampel the chance. Tremendous racing. Well done, Yarrick Hampel. What an event it was.